And welcome to a very special episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast on Stables Media. This is a developing news update. I'm Taylor Phillips, along with former Michigan Wolverines football player Richard Goldman. Richard Goldman, you can follow him on Twitter at RichGoldman7371 on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DT2Phillips with two L's. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Michigan_Truth, and like it on Facebook as the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, and follow it on LinkedIn. The show is sponsored by the Viget Sports mobile app, where great fans cover. Download it on your phone from the Apple App Store or Google Play. Sign up and type in the referral code STABLES with a capital S and the rest of the letters being lowercase, including the letter B in the middle, as in billionaire, for Stables Media. Also, a shout out to Cali Tickets. Visit CaliTickets.com or call 877-225-8425 to purchase a ticket to one of their featured events. So let's get to that update, shall we? Rich, take it away.
You got it. Well, we've had several things that have happened over the course of the last 24 hours, as a matter of fact. Somebody on the campus of Michigan decided that they were going to spray paint red paint on the Bo Schembechler statue that's on campus. And they also put a message on that statue that said, quote, Schembechler knew, and with a hashtag of hail to the victims. That's probably the wrong thing to do. We think we know who did it. It was actually one of the victims that did it, that has come out. And you just don't play games like that. Right. First of all, since I'm the one that came out and said that Schembechler knew because I told him back in 1981, it's an insult to me. Also, there was an article in the Detroit Free Press that was run the first thing this morning. It came to me on a news alert. And the person who wrote the article absolutely had misquoted me from my presser in June. He had misquoted John Vaughn as well, who's one of the other football players who has taken it upon himself to camp out in front of the president's house now since early October. Don't ask why. John just decided that he wanted to camp out and try to send a message to the university that we're not going away. Whether that's working or not, I have no idea. But the Free Press pretty much changed their story because I sent an email immediately to the reporter once I read it and said, wait, this is who I am. This is the exact transcript that I attached to the email of what I said in June. Don't ever skewer my words. Don't ever skewer the words of anybody who was a victim. And within 2 hours, the Free Press actually took that story down and completely rewrote it without putting any of our names in there, which was good. What happened on campus is a travesty. The University Board of Regents has still not come to the table to settle. We've been having ongoing mediation discussions. They have not even wanted to put an offer on the table, and that was including as of up to yesterday. What's probably going to happen next, I can guarantee you, is that John and I will probably be the witnesses at trial who will go up against the defense. I still don't know if John's going to be a witness because he sort of skewed himself by camping out in front of the house. And that makes the story now completely different than what happened to him as an athlete with all the abuses from Dr. Anderson, because he gave an opening to the defense to try to attack him, obviously. I'm continuing to do as many interviews as possible. The Free Press, again, will reach out to me. I'll give them a second interview and say, look, enough is enough. That we must go to trial. If we go to trial, I think we talked the last time, there's something called treble damages, meaning that in a tortfeasor case, the damages, let's say the jury came back and they awarded $2 billion, whatever it would be. That would be triple damages based on a jury verdict. I don't think the university wants to do that. Now, we have increased the number of plaintiffs, sadly so. We're now at 845 plaintiffs dating back to 1966. That's unbelievable that this many people were abused by one man. When you put the Larry Nassar case from Michigan State into perspective, the Ohio State case, you put the Penn State case in with what happened with them, this pales it in comparison because this is unbelievable. This is an enormous amount of people that were abused by one man. That's horrifying. And the thing that I'm still trying to bring forward, and my attorneys yell at me all the time about it, why are you defending Bo? I have to. The man did not know all those years until 1981 of what happened. He did what he needed to do. He did what he had to do. Don Canham, the athletics director, did nothing. The university now has actually recognized publicly that John and I are correct in what we have said from our stories. John, of course, he had it much worse abuse-wise than I did because of what Dr. Anderson tried to do to him by taking sperm samples from him for his alleged sperm bank, which never existed, which was disgusting. And the university has at least acknowledged, okay, we know the two of you have taken the lead on this. We know that nobody's lying, but we don't want to come up with cash. And it's embarrassing to the school. Here they are playing Ohio State on Saturday. That's the only thing that anybody should be paying attention to. Of course, for me, I hope Ohio State does to Michigan what they did to Michigan State last week, but that's just me. And Michigan,
I think it's going to be a close game. Very
So
close
do I.
game. I still think Ohio State will win, by the way.
So do I, but it's going to be a much closer game than Michigan State, who never even got off the bus.
Can't wait to see it.
So, yeah, you and me both. Come on, 49-0 at halftime. It's embarrassing. And we literally never got off the bus. Oh, we scored 7 points. Yippee. In the fourth quarter. Give me a break. What it proved and what I what I've told, I told this to John, told this to a couple of the other former players. Look, what it proved is we're not ready at Michigan State for prime time yet. But you're still going to finish 10-2 if they beat Penn State. That's unbelievable. And they're going to probably go to the Fiesta Bowl, which would be nice for a guy like me because that'll give me another ring, but that's beside the point. But I would anticipate that we're going to go to trial in the spring, and that is horrific. I'm looking at it from a PR standpoint of the university. You don't want to do that. As a former student, looking back at all the other students and the current students, you don't need that. You don't need this negative publicity in your life. All you need to concentrate on is the future, which would be you still have a good football program. I'm never going to insult Jim Harbaugh. I love the guy, plain and simple. You've got a phenomenal basketball program now with Juwan Howard in there. And you've got a phenomenal hockey team. The hockey team is in the top 3 in the nation. You need to concentrate on things like that. The good for the school. The publicity that guys like John and I have caused has been horrific. And I apologize to everybody for that because it's not needed. Publicity like this at a school should never, ever be this negative. It shouldn't be. When you look at Penn State, Ohio State, Eastern Michigan, I forgot to put them in because they had the same style of scandal that happened. When you look at how fast these other schools have settled, other than Ohio State, because, Jim Jordan is still in Congress and he's covered all this up, everybody else has settled. Why? Because they realize the publicity will kill them. This is why Michigan State settled what they did. And of course, then the FBI came in and prosecuted the president, the former athletics director, Mark Hollis. They prosecuted a few other people in the athletics department because they covered it up. Didn't you guys learn your lesson at Michigan? And by taking this to trial and only having 2 witnesses, that's all we're going to need. Because everybody else doesn't need to tell their story. They already have. But you put a guy like John or myself onto the stand, and it's devastating because there's that old fact. Facts are facts. Facts don't lie. People lie, of course. But you can't skew and you can't lie about the facts, not as horrific as they are. And do you really want these details to be told to a jury of your peers? I don't think so. I don't think anybody should ever have to go through that. And again, for the university, I have tried in every interview that I give to say to them, look, we're not the bad guys here. There are no bad guys here. There's over 850 plaintiffs. Doesn't that tell you something? And the people that have passed away, their families aren't going away. Their families are still involved in this litigation. They'll get the same equal settlement as a guy like me and John. What are you doing? And I can't break through. And John certainly, even though he's been doing these protests, he can't break through. In fact, tonight he was on campus again with one of the former Ohio State wrestling guys because of the game this weekend. One of the guys who's been at the forefront at Ohio State to try to get their case settled for the sex abuse scandal there. And it's going nowhere. The University of Michigan's arrogance, foolishness, and self-hate and self-hurt is going to destroy the school. You can't afford $3, $4, $5 billion in settlements. Come on, nobody can. Even if you have the insurance policy, even if you have the endowment, you don't want to do that. Just settle, call it a day. Apologize to guys like John and I, which they have. Now you have to apologize to everybody else, and we'll call it a morning and just move on, and that'll be it. And if you don't want to do that, we will go to trial. And you can imagine, since it's in federal court, what the publicity and the cameras are going to be in the court. The cameras will be outside of the court. And at the end of every single day, guys like John and I will be walking out, speaking to the media masses, driving the story home even worse. What are you guys doing? Practical common sense says, you know it happened. You admitted it happened. Let's just get rid of the case. It's going to cost a lot of money. Of course it is. Look how much Michigan State cost. Look how much Penn State cost. Of course, in Penn State, you have a man who's in jail because he's the one that did the sexual abuse. Anderson, Coach Bo, and Don Canham are dead. What are you worrying about? These are the three men that would have been put on the stand. Now, Canham would have been criminally prosecuted. There's no question, because he covered it up. Robert Anderson, he's looking at life in jail, because look at Larry Nassar. Come on, with 113 girls. He's serving a life sentence.
Life in prison.
Right. 860 some odd. Man, you're talking 860 counts of life in prison? That's horrifying. Yeah, what you just did is what we do every day that John and I talk. It's like, wow. Can you imagine if this man would he be in his late 80s now? You're going to spend the rest of your dying days in prison. Wow. Okay, but they're all gone. So that changes the scope of the entire story. Why? Because they're gone. There's nothing left for you to prosecute. It's just the university now saving face. And guys, you need to save face. I'm a former student there, for Christ's sake. I'm telling you, as an injured party, I hold nothing against you. I really don't. Now, when I make fun of the sports programs, of course I make fun of them. Hell, I'm a Michigan State guy now, but it's all in good fun. When I say to you guys, look, I'm a student. I'm a former student. I'm not a member of the Alumni Association. Either is John, because of the way you treated us. But how about inviting us back once you settle? How about you reach your hands out and just go, hey, we're sorry. That should come from the president of the university. We're sorry, guys. Let's just move on. Is it going to cost a lot of money to settle? Of course, because you have so many plaintiffs. Does it mean that John and I are going to retire? No, it's not going to be that kind of money. But if they go to trial, it's going to be that kind of money. And again, the only people that will make the most money on this, as you and I know, if we go to trial, are the attorneys. Because the attorneys are charging God knows how much an hour. I know that what my attorneys in California are charging, they're $955 an hour billable. Oh my God, kids. So if you reach, let's say it's a $1.5 billion settlement, again, just throwing out a number. Out of that $1.5 billion, 33 1/3% is going to go to the attorneys. That's a hell of a lot of money. And if you go to trial, oh, no. All attorney's fees now are going to have to be paid separately by the University of Michigan when a verdict comes in. So you're talking on top of whatever kind of money that you'd have to settle with the plaintiffs for, you're looking at another $1 billion in attorney fees. What are we doing? This is money that really you should invest back in your students, invest back in the university to keep the university going. Not to pay us or pay attorneys. What are you doing? And no one on the Board of Regents wants to listen to me. They basically block me, and one of them actually told me to go to hell. That's fine, not a problem. I can go to hell like the rest of them, but I'm not going away. And as long as guys like John and myself are out there screaming and yelling, the other plaintiffs have been very, very quiet. Why? They don't want to come forward, and I can't blame them. They're not mouthpieces. They're not a broadcaster like me. They're not a broadcaster like John used to be. We got the mouth, so we know how to talk. So we're carrying their on our shoulders, and that's fine. We can speak for all of these people. That's not a problem. We can speak for their families, for the ones that have passed away. And if Michigan thinks that they're going to continue to hold out, and I told this to them again last week, if you think you're going to hold out until all of us are dead, it ain't going to matter. The families are still involved in the litigation. What's wrong with you? Come on, guys. This has gone on for 2.5 years now. Now, of course, it's exploded since our presser at the university in June. So it's really only been going on 6 months and it's really exploded. But in those 6 months, this is how far you've moved on the table. You haven't even come forward and said, okay, let's put an offer. They've done nothing. Why? I don't know. If you're afraid of us, you don't need to be. And I keep trying to bring this forward. You don't need to be afraid of us. We're not mean guys. We're not vampires, in drag. We're not here to bite you. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to set the record straight. That's it. And if you don't want to set the record straight, I'll see you in trial. And if I see you in trial, you ain't going to like what I got to say, because it's tenfold from what I said at the presser. I will go into the most minute details of what Anderson did to me that'll have the jury going, and that's what you play for. Because if John and I go on the stand, we're playing to 11 people. We're not playing to the defense or the plaintiff's counsel. We're playing to those guys off on our corner to the left. And that is devastating, because there's not a jury on the face of this earth. Now, of course, I can say, wait a minute, Kyle Rittenhouse, anything can happen. But there's not a jury on the face of this earth that'll look at the university and say, yeah, you guys are okay. You're not okay. You let it happen for 45 years. What? That's the most devastating thing right there. 45 years, they let this man stay on campus. And they knew what he was doing. Don Canham especially knew what he was doing from 1970 forward. Wow. I'm not the brightest guy in the world. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, as I tell everyone. But when it comes to legal, I think I know what I'm doing. And practical common sense sets in over all of this. It really does, Taylor. It sets in. Why? Because facts are facts. And when 860 some odd people say, look what he did to me, and they all have variations of the same style of story of what the man did, holy crap. What are we doing? Now, I will say that HBO Sports did an interview, and I'm encouraging people not to watch it. They did an interview with John Vaughn, two other former athletes at Michigan, with Brian Gumbel. Don't watch it, guys. It was not done right. The interview was more of a personal attack. Bryant did personal attacks on everybody, including Michigan. That's not how you want to settle the case. And as I said to John, if you ever do an interview like that again, I'm going to shoot you. Personally, I'm going to come up to Ann Arbor and just shoot you right in the head with a baseball bat. You can't do negative. Why? The stories we've already told. You want to be mad at Don Canham. I'm mad at Don Canham, but he's dead. So what's the difference? It's now the people that I worry about. I think I told you this when we first met, was his family. I'm talking his wife, children, grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews. They don't need to hear this. I'm so apologetic to these people. I really am. I feel bad for them. However, look what Daddy did. And now that Daddy's dead, Daddy can't defend himself, which, yeah, that's not a good thing. I would love for Canham to come up on the stand and admit that he told me to go F myself that day, that he did nothing about it for 3 years, because that makes him look stupid. You had 3 years while I was up there, 3 freaking years to say something, do something. That old saying about if the police say, if you see something, say something. He saw it. He said nothing. Wow. Okay. So the university has to do the right thing. And if it means replacing every single member on the Board of Regents, that's fine by me too. Because you need to get the people in there who understand that you allowed some of these people since 50 some odd years of suffering. How do you even sleep with yourself at night knowing that? And this is just the kind of interviews that I'm giving. And why? Now, my attorneys will say to you, don't be so nice. I have no choice. I'm not a nasty guy. All I want is for the truth to be finally told and the university to admit it, pay the people who sued you, come up with whatever settlement it's going to be, and let's call it a day and go away and move on. We all have better things to do in our lives. The university certainly has better things to do with itself. And you have futures of students that are coming up there now that don't need to they don't need to hear this. They don't need to know this, because let's say, God forbid, something else happens on the campus. Now, as you and I know, there's been 3 or 4 other incidents of sexual abuse in the last year at the school. Man, you're turning students away now with your negative publicity. I don't want that to happen. I want Michigan to still be the leaders and the best. That's just me, even though I'm a Michigan State guy now. I want that school to succeed. The only time I ever want them to not do well is when they play Michigan State or Ohio State. But that's just me. Other than that, maybe not even Ohio State. You know, if they were to beat Ohio State in the next 2 years after losing, 20 years in a row? Sorry. Somebody on Twitter actually has posted the number of days is 3,500 and some odd days since Michigan beat Ohio State in football. Ouch. Harbaugh's got to come up with a way.
That was back in 2011 when Brady Hoke was the head coach.
We're talking 10 years. It's been a decade now since you've beaten Ohio State. Man, that's not good. Can you find a way, please? Now, if they lose to Ohio State, they still have a decent record. They're still going to probably go to the Rose Bowl is what I'm thinking. I don't think they'll select Michigan State for the Rose Bowl over Michigan. Why? Michigan's got the better alumni base who will show up to the Rose Bowl. Let's be honest. The Fiesta Bowl is where I think the Spartans will end up if they beat Penn State. Hey, after what Mel Tucker had last year to compare to this year, and you finished 10-2, that's phenomenal. I want both schools in every single sport. I don't care if it's water polo. I want.
That's why they signed Mel Tucker to a 10-year, $95 million contract. I guess.
Yes, sir. Unbelievable, and it's being paid for by 2 of the alumni. Matasheba and one other fellow are paying for this contract. Wow. And now, first of all, let's take it from the racial perspective. He's now going to be the highest paid black coach in the history of sports. I think that's phenomenal. It's about damn time, by the way. That I have no problem with. But not 10 years, 95. First of all, who says you want the man there for 10 years? He's not going to have. If he has the Nick Saban success of 10 years, hey, that's phenomenal. I don't think that's going to happen. This is the Big Ten. The Big Ten, as you know, has always had the roller coasters up and down, no matter what. Even Ohio State's had a few off years. It happens. Look at Penn State this year. Perfect example. Penn State came in ranked, number 3 in the nation, I believe, in the preseason polls. Look what happened. Okay, but they're going to bounce back next year. That's just the way the Big Ten is. But to sign your coach in for 10 years, ouch. Even Nick Saban doesn't get a 10-year contract like that. You give him 5 years at the max at a time. That's the right thing to do. Or if you're the Detroit Lions, just go month to month, but we're not going to go there. That was mean. See, I can segue to the Detroit Lions, Taylor, and say, hey, look, we're almost to my goal. Undefeated in reverse is not out of the question now. Damn. The only thing I'm upset at, if we finish 0-16-1, oh, man, we've been there, done that at 0-16. I wanted 0-17. I wanted us to be the only team to do that. Boy, am I making fun of the Lions. Why? Because we can.
Right. And it's actually good for their draft stock, too. They're in line for that first overall pick for next year's draft.
And if they draft a wide receiver, I'll shoot them. They need a quarterback, but I don't see any real quarterbacks coming out of the draft this year. Unlike last year. They need a free agent quarterback. Yes, sir. And I don't see one coming from the Lions. If you're a free agent quarterback, do you want to come to Detroit? I'm sorry. I just don't see that happening. Jared Goff, I hate to say he's proving himself the way the Rams said that he would be, and they were right. Now, Matt Stafford, you give him an offensive line, and look what happens. Now, he's reverted the last couple of weeks back to the old, throw the interceptions out of nowhere, Matt Stafford. But he's got a good offensive line, and look what he's going to do with L.A. You give the man an offensive line to protect them. That I've never seen a quarterback who can throw blind, looking this way to the left, and he's throwing the ball to the right sidearm, and he's connecting with his receivers. He's incredible. Jared Goff.
Stafford's always been good.
Yes, sir. Goff, he was good, but he had himself surrounded by a good team. Don't forget when they went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
He had himself a real good offensive line. He had a great amount of receivers. We don't got anybody in Detroit this year. We have no offensive line. And the injuries, let's admit it, there was a lot of injuries. But I got to give Dan Campbell some room. Let's see what he can do in the next 2 years, and then I'm sure they're going to get rid of him too. The old saying, I think it was Steve Mariucci who said it. He said, I really firmly believe that the Detroit Lions are where good head coaches go to die. And I think he's right. We fired Jim Caldwell after going 9-7 twice. Yeah. What? Please. This is the history of the Lions. Come on, you guys have had Monty Clark. You guys have had Rick Forzano. These guys are really good coaches. Mariucci was a good
Fontes.
coach. Wayne Fontes was fantastic.
Wayne Fontes, yeah.
Yeah, and they go to die. Come on, Wayne Fontes at least took us to the championship game in 1994. So what if we lost to Washington? They made it. They made it there. They won.
I thought it was 1991 or 1992.
Was it 91 or 2? Why do I keep thinking it was 94?
It was 1991 when they made the 92 playoffs, the 91-92 season.
When they lied, because the Redskins won the Super Bowl that year with John Riggins.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Boy, do I feel stupid. I thought,
the Lions' only playoff win in that year was against the Dallas Cowboys.
Correct. And then they went to the NFC Championship game and got killed 45 to something, which was fine. Yep. But they made it. And then look what happened again to Wayne Fontes in the next 2 years. He was gone. It's a culture of losing. And this is where I can segue right back to the campus of the University of Michigan. You don't have a culture of losing. You never have, whether it's Bo all the way through football. Your basketball programs have always done very well. Your hockey programs, when Red Berenson was there. Baseball, even under that idiot Bud Middow, who was there for years when he was cheating and selling all the athletic parking ticket money for his gambling problem before he went to jail. And that's when they brought Bill Freehan in, may he rest in peace, to take over the baseball program. You've always had great success up there. You don't have a culture of losing. This is why I highly want them to settle. Let it go. Let's move on. You're a better school than that. You're a better program than that. But who am I? No one wants to listen to me apparently up there, but that's okay. I just keep on using my mouth, and one day it'll settle, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we get the next update, of course, I will let you know. We should have probably within the next 3 weeks, the judge is going to have to make a decision to end the mediation and set for trial. So by the end of the year, we're going to be set for trial, which will be
hit me up.
That's fine. Bring me up, coach. I'm ready to go into the game. It's a horrible thing to say, but we're ready. Why? Because there's nothing more that we can talk about, nothing more to hide. You guys want to play baseball? Hey, I can play baseball with the best of them. John can play football with the best of them. Not a problem. You don't want us up there. Now, John, I'm going to tell you the exact thing I said to him. What he's doing by camping out in front of the president's house is foolish. That's not the way to get things done. It's sending the wrong message. Even though I understand why he's doing it, it's the wrong message. I'm the old litigator. It's the wrong message to do. Just shut up, go home, let the attorneys do the work, and when they need you to talk, you talk. When the members of the media call you, you talk. You don't go on HBO and start talking negative things. You just don't do that. It makes you look foolish. It makes you look small, and it makes you look weak. That's what I say to people. You keep the positive perspective. You keep your story positive. You don't insult. You don't berate. You don't scream. You don't yell. You don't go after people. You just do what you need to do. You shut your mouth until somebody asks you to talk. Plain and simple. You don't go out there and make a scene for yourself. That's not who I am. That's not who any of the other plaintiffs should be. The damage is already long done. Let the rest of the process work itself out. And there's the update.
All right. So, a few things before we close this out. Got a Viget scoring prediction for Ohio State and Michigan. I already predicted 42-38 Ohio State this past Sunday with Ed and Frank.
Yes, that I know, and I'm pretty much around the 45-34, 45-30. Ohio State winning. Ohio State's easily going to score 40 points for that offense. Michigan, it depends on who shows up. If we show up the way that they should show up, it's going to be a shootout. And that would be a great game if it's a shootout. Unlike what happened this past Saturday with Michigan State, I want a shootout. You don't want to see an offensive blowout. No, not in the big house. I want this game to go down. If Ohio State scores the majority of its points in the fourth quarter, hey, that's great. That's fine. Game over. But I would love in the fourth quarter to be like a 3-point ball game, whether it's Michigan in the lead or Ohio State in the lead, and then let them shoot it out in the fourth. That's the kind of game I would love to see after a decade of Ohio State dominance. I want Harbaugh to prepare this team, if he just looks at what Mel Tucker didn't do with the team not getting off the bus, if he prepares these kids well and gets them out of that locker room psyched, it's going to be a great game. And I still think that Michigan State should roll over Penn State. I'm sorry, they don't have it this year, Penn State.
James Franklin, as Frank Vasner mentioned, is a boob. And Penn State signed into a 10-year extension.
Yes. Oh, my God.
That is a low cow.
See, that's where you and I were just talking about Mel Tucker, 10 years. What are you signing James Franklin for 10 years for? He's a great coach, but come on.
Mel Tucker's a lot better than that.
Oh, yes, he is. But remember what Penn State has done. They had Papa Joe for 40 some odd years, so they're only used to this. Where in Michigan State, if I'm going to roll the clock all the way back. If McPherson, who was the former president of Michigan State, would have shut his damn mouth and not have insulted Nick Saban and said to Saban that I'm not going to give $5,000 a year raises to your assistant coaches, say 1,000 forward with Saban there, instead of him going off to LSU and then going to the Dolphins and whatever the hell he had to do and then go back to Alabama, they would have been dominant. Michigan State had a great coach in D'Antonio. I love the man. He's one of the nicest people you will ever want to meet in your lifetime.
He was a good motivator.
Yes, I couldn't blame him for walking away, not after what was going on up at that campus. Come on, the FBI was probing everything. They were catching everybody in a lie. They tried to accuse that one idiot who was a former assistant coach who tried to accuse D'Antonio of racism. Come on. We didn't need that up there. And D'Antonio said, I'm done. So they bring in Tucker, but you've seen what Tucker's done this year. He has D'Antonio with him every step of the way. They're talking every day. They watch film together every day. He's keeping D'Antonio involved. Now, D'Antonio's contract's another 4 years, and he's in the athletics department now. But Tucker realized, oh, my God, number one, these are all his kids, too, the kids that are left. And number two, he's a great coach and a great motivator.
They're both great coaches.
You're right. You've got two fantastic men who are up there at State. No wonder they're finished 10-2. This is the Mark D'Antonio style of football. And Mel Tucker said, why the hell would I want to change something that's not broken? Yes, last year with COVID, it was a bad year for everybody, no matter who you were. It was a bad year, except for Alabama, God forbid. But it was a bad year overall. And then he puts all these kids in the transfer portal. And by the way, hey, guys, Rocky Lombardi did pretty damn well at Northern Illinois this year, didn't he? When he left Michigan State. He did real good. I like how the coach, by the way, didn't play him in the game last night. They lost, but they're still in the in the division finals. So Rocky's actually got his team in the playoffs. Amazing. Not bad. That tells you the kind of quality that he learned from Mark D'Antonio. So if we get to the Fiesta Bowl, I don't care if they come down to Tampa, by the way, or Orlando. It don't matter to me. But the talk is the Fiesta Bowl. And today, I actually heard some crazy guy on Kenny Maines on ESPN saying Notre Dame may be playing Michigan State in the Fiesta Bowl. Wow, that would be a heck of a game. If Notre Dame don't make the playoffs and they have to play the Spartans, that'll be a heck of a ball game. Although I think Notre Dame will probably crush them, but that's me. I think Notre Dame is a far better football team right now than Michigan State is. We have as you know, from the Ohio State game, we got no secondary. We got nobody in that.
No secondary.
Oh, my God.
They need to fire their secondary defense coach if they have one.
They don't have one. They're going to have one next year, guaranteed. And I can only imagine what in the next 2 seasons Michigan State football is going to look like. First of all, you got Ken Walker. This kid's an incredible athlete. I have not seen an athlete who can zig, zag, and run since a guy named Barry Sanders. That's who he reminds me of when I watch him, when he blows through the open holes in the line and he starts firing past everyone in the defensive secondary. That's Barry Sanders. That's what Billy Sims used to do. Steve Owens used to do that. Archie Griffin used to do that at Ohio State too. Some of the great running backs. This kid's phenomenal. Should he win the Heisman this year? No, I don't think he should. But next year is always a different story. And if you know how good he was this year, can you imagine with more protection on that offensive line what he can do next year? He's incredible. He's the one who's carried this school. He's carried that university. He's carried that football program to what should be a 10-2 record. That's an amazing thing to do. Anybody who finishes 10-2 still is, I don't care who you are, it's a phenomenal record. Whether you're Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, everybody can accept 10-2. Except, of course, if you're Alabama, where they say one loss kills you, but never mind. That's an old Nick Saban joke. He hates losing. And matter of fact, I will say to everyone that I spoke to Nick last week, and I think I told you about, we've been friends since about around 1990, and he still is hurting over the loss. He still is. I'm like, damn it, Nick. He goes, no. I expect to finish undefeated every season. If not, it's a failure. How many national championships have you won, son? Excuse me? You consider one loss a failure? He's like, yes, I didn't do my job coaching that game. Dude, you've had one loss. What's wrong with you? But that's the kind of motivator that he is with his kids. He don't want you to go out on that field and lose. If you lose, it's a travesty. Wow. That's how Mel Tucker is now. Mel Tucker is like, he's calling it the woodshed at Michigan State. Tuck coming, all these new little sayings that he has. I wish Jim Harbaugh would listen to that. I want Harbaugh to be this kind of an SOB with his players, because if Harbaugh was, Michigan would be a far better program than they really are right now. Harbaugh can be so much. I'm going to make comments about his brother right now. His brother's 10 times the coach than he is, because he's learned how to deal with loss. He's learned how to deal with adversity. You notice his brother never blames the refs when the Ravens lose. Jim, shut your mouth. If you lose a game, don't blame the refs. That's the stupidest thing you could do. And I only imagine Coach Schembechler flipping by 15 times in his grave every time Harbaugh does that. Because as Bo always said, if you ever insult the referees, after the game's over, if you ever insult the referees, you should be fired. And I'm going to go all the way back to the 1983 Rose Bowl, when I was talking with the referees in the press house in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. And Schembechler came in the door. He saw me talking to the referees and bolted over to me and grabbed me by my shirt and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm complimenting the referees." He went, "Oh." He goes, "That's the one lesson I hope I taught you. Don't ever say to the referees, you did a crappy job, or boy, what happened on this call, and da-da-da-da-da." No, if the referees do a great job, I felt it upon myself to compliment them. Why? They're human beings, man. They did a great job. Thank you. You did it. You called a fantastic game. And that's how Schembechler was. And I wish Jim would learn that. Just stop blaming anybody but yourself. You should not have lost to Michigan State. Should I be honest? They should have destroyed MSU. Oops. You blew it. You're the head coach. It's all on you, Jimmy. You did not do the right things to have your team beat Michigan State when you should have beaten them this year. Okay, move on. Now everybody's saying, oh, Michigan's ahead of Michigan State in the polls. I don't care. None of us should care.
Slightly, they are.
Slightly, right. And I love on Twitter all these people who insult each other left and right and sideways. Oh, Michigan's better. Michigan State's
toxicity.
Better. Right, just shut up is what I want to tell these idiots. And then I do. And, of course, I get suspended like I did for 24 hours on Twitter, as I was on Tuesday of this week, because I went after one of the Michigan people. He was insulting Michigan State, the little brother, the little this, the little that. I'm like, dude, you lost the game. Can you shut up for 5 minutes? That's all I'm asking. Shut your damn mouth. And because I said shut your damn mouth, Twitter knocked me off. Okay. I'm sick and tired of people.
They suspended you for telling that guy, just for telling that guy to shut up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Twitter's freaking soft.
Oh, are they ever? Come on, I'm the same guy that got kicked off of Twitter 250 times during Donald Trump's administration, but I wasn't nice during that time. I was insulting everybody left and right. But come on, I'm telling you to shut your damn mouth and act like a civil human being. You lost the game. Okay, it's over. You have an Ohio State game. That's all you should be concentrating yourself on. You should be worrying about whether or not we can beat Ohio State. You can't, because I don't think you have the head coach to do it right now. You've lost 10 years in a row, guys. I think it's going to be 11. You agree it's going to be the 11 years in a row. But guess what? You still finished 10-2, just like Michigan State. Wow, to me, that's a great year. And if you go to the Rose Bowl, because of the fact that Ohio State is in the playoffs, as they should, I'm happy. First of all, Michigan hasn't been to the Rose Bowl in over a decade. It's time. That's what I'm looking at. If Michigan makes the Rose Bowl, cool. They deserve it. You never thought you'd hear this Michigan State boy say that, but Michigan definitely deserves to go to the Rose Bowl. Why? It's been over a decade. Hey, the Spartans have been there. I'm sick of Ohio State being there, sick of Wisconsin being there. How about Michigan? And maybe
gotta earn it.
Yeah, they 10-2, they've earned it, as far as I'm concerned.
You gotta beat Ohio State to earn it. Doesn't matter what your record is. It's great, but it doesn't matter.
That's really true. I have to agree with you 100% on that, Taylor. If they beat Ohio State, they've earned it. Even if they haven't, they'll slide into it. And you look, to me, if you're sliding into the Rose Bowl,
it depends on their rankings and everyone else's rankings.
Yeah, that's true, because you saw how far the Spartans fell. Spartans fell to what, number 12, I believe?
After 12 in the AP poll, yep.
And that was deservedly so, because they weren't ready for prime time. If Michigan loses, they're not going to fall to number 12 because, well, here's what will happen. You and I both know Twitter's going to explode. The Spartans will beat Penn State. If Michigan loses, now the Spartans are going to jump Michigan in the final poll. They'll jump them by maybe 1 or 2 places. Everybody's going to go crazy again. Oh, Michigan State's not better than us. No, Michigan sucked. I can hear it now. And I'm so tired of it. Year in and year out. Sometimes it's fun.
Those are just Homer fans that just jaw at one another.
Right. And
they deserve one another.
Right. But the vitriol, oh my God, dude, it's horrible. The vitriol is just ridiculous. Can we just stop and realize you have 2 very good programs? You have 2 very good programs. Both of you lost to Ohio State. Can you get over it, please? So what if Michigan State beats you? You still finish with identical records. Shut up. Meaning, yeah, you know what Mel Tucker is going to do. Mel Tucker, after they beat Penn State, he'll be himself going, yeah, our program's come a long way. We still have a long way to go. Here's Harbaugh. Well, you know, the referees in the third quarter should never have called that pass interference call or that offsides call. That's the difference.
That's his MO.
Yep. Harbaugh. That's the difference between what can be a great coach and what can be just a good coach. And if Jim learns, I'm surprised his brother hasn't told him to shut the F up already after all this time and learn from what can I be even more honest? What about Jim's dad? Jim's dad was not like that either as a coach. Jim's dad never blamed anybody like that. Absolutely not. And here's Jim, who's a Bo product, just like me. And all the lessons that Bo taught me, I still carry them with me every single day. Why doesn't Jim do that? If you ask 99% of any other football player or broadcaster, anybody who was ever exposed to Bo, none of us are like Jim. We're not going to go out there and blame the world for something that happened. No, take it upon yourself and say, you know what? I don't think I coached the team well enough. I'm going to take the blame. It's my bad. Like Mel did. Boy, I didn't prepare the team, did I? No, you certainly did not. And the assistant coaches came to the microphone at the presser after the Ohio State game, said the same thing. Oh man, we didn't get off the bus. We did not do the right things for the kids. We let them down. That's what I want to hear. Thank you, coaches. You admitted that you blew it. Yes, the kids feel bad enough. They got slaughtered 49-7. And if, God forbid, if Michigan loses 49-7, I can only imagine what's going to happen with Harbaugh. He's going to go nuts. He's going to go absolutely ape. It's going to go crazy. But if he loses, even if he loses by 3 points, here's what you say. We lost to a better team. Ohio State is phenomenal. We're making a bowl game. Let's concentrate on that. That's next. Whether it's going to be over Christmas or whether it's New Year's Day, it doesn't matter. Let's concentrate on that right now. That's how you do the end of the season. Come on, you could be like Penn State. They're not making a bowl game. Good
What
God.
I heard 2 years ago after Michigan's game against Ohio State at home, when they lost 56-27, I remember the exact score. Harbaugh told the media, "I don't want to hear your insults and
Right.
stuff."
I remember
That is called sensitivity.
Thank you.
Period. Personified.
Exactly. And Jim, you have to hear the insults. Why? They're going to give them to you left, right, and sideways. You got your ass handed to you, pardon my French. Of course you did. Mel Tucker took it like a man. Hell, when D'Antonio got his butt kicked, he took it like a man. Nick Saban takes it like a man. Nick Saban now Nick will growl, like you always know that he does when they lose. Nick will start growling a little bit, and people laugh at him. Why? That's his persona. Nick growls at his own dog, okay? He's done that his entire life. Anytime Nick and I talk on the phone, he always growls. Why? That's who he is. But he also recognizes his own failure. And if Jim Harbaugh can learn one little tiny lesson, learn from your own failures, dude. Admit, we lost. Okay, I didn't do my job as the head coach. My defensive coach didn't do his job, or God forbid, my offensive line coach blew it. That's all. That's it. Move on. He can't do that. He can never do that. And then, of course, the raining insults that come down on him after he gives his stupid press conferences and blames everybody and himself. Good God, Jim, do you really want to hear these insults because of your own foolishness? You're a damn good coach. Can I be honest? He's a very good coach. But until you beat Ohio State, like Mel Tucker said, until you beat your number one enemy in Ohio State, you ain't a good coach. And he's right. Sure, Mel Tucker can beat Michigan every single year. It don't matter. Until he beats the big boy, and I mean Ohio State, then you can say, look what we've done. Like D'Antonio. Remember when they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship? Hey, D'Antonio earned it, baby. He earned it. That's when we made the playoffs. He earned. So, of course, we got our butts handed to us by Alabama. Doesn't matter, baby. That ring is beautiful. You made the playoffs. And this is the other thing I have to say to Jimmy Harbaugh. How many times have you been to the Big Ten championship, dude? You've never made it. You've never made it.
And Harbaugh's 0-2 against Mel Tucker.
Yes, sir. And he's still, even if he beats Ohio State, hey, they're going to be in the Big Ten championship game. Finally. But until you beat Ohio State, you ain't getting there. And until you learn your lesson, meaning humility, that's the big thing. Like I was talking about with Dr. Anderson, it's humility, baby. People respect humility more than they do arrogance. And Jim, you need to just a little bit. That's all you need, dude. You can be like Dan Campbell. You know, the way Dan Campbell, he's a man who stands up after every loss and blames himself. He blames his coaching staff also will blame themselves for not, even though they know they have no personnel. Come on, these guys know what they got, but they still blame themselves. They're not blaming Jared Goff. They're not blaming anybody else. They're blaming themselves. That's what a head coach does. And even in baseball, it's the same thing. Come on, look at guys like Billy Martin, A.J. Hinch, and when they got their butts handed to them, they admitted it. They don't go out there and insult. Tigers are a different story. We can move on to them too. Jeez, they got
yeah, and they signed Eduardo Rodriguez. They're trying to work things out with Carlos Correa, I heard.
Yes, they are. But what I don't like now, it's a negotiating tactic. At least I'm hoping to God it is. Where my Chris Illich, I'm about to say Mike Illich. Sorry, may he rest in peace.
Chris Illich.
Chris is saying, I don't know if I want to spend
Cheapskate Chris.
Yes, I don't know if I want to spend $300 million on one man. Hey, screw you, dude. You need him. He can take you over the top. Now, they lost Steven Matz today. He signed with the Cardinals, which was kind of not surprising that he didn't take the Tigers, but I could have used another left-hander in the rotation. Would have been nice. So the Tigers.
Yeah, over Matt Boyd, particularly.
Thank you very much. Now, we all knew the JV wasn't coming back. That was Miguel Cabrera's pipeline.
1 year, $25 million with the same team, the Houston Astros, still a current team.
Right, and he has that second-year option of $25 million as well. Where the Yankees, strangely enough,
I guess I mentioned the option, I guess.
Yeah, the Yankees didn't want to give him the option. That was unbelievable. I'm like, dude, the Yankees not offering a 2-year contract to JV? Okay. He signed with Houston. Will he ever come back to the Tigers to retire? He doesn't need to. We now know where he'll wear his Hall of Fame cap. Will be with Houston, and that's fine, no problem. Hey, Max Scherzer's out there, guys. You want to resign him? I'll take Max for 2 years at $30 million a year. I don't care. I don't care if I'm paying $30 million. Now, this is not my money, of course, but I would pay Correa and Max Scherzer. Do you know what kind of a team the Tigers would have with the two of them and Eduardo Rodriguez? Now we're talking. Talking. But the Tigers also you don't need a first baseman. You've got Torque. They've got Scope at second base. You put Correa at short. I'm still questioning Candyman at third base. I'm sorry. I'm still questioning him after all this time.
Jamer Candelario.
Yeah. He's nowhere really a Rodriguez. Can I be honest? He ain't no Greg Nettles. Hell, he ain't no Travis Fryman. Should I be even more honest?
Nico Goodrum has cleared waivers and has become a free agent.
Who did?
Nico Goodrum. So I believe he's gone.
A free agent. Whoa. Can we resign him, please?
Goodrum. Oh, you're joking.
I'm being honest. I'm being joking with you. No, I'm glad he's gone. Nico, he had flashes, but that was it. Now you also have a very good outfield. You got two guys in the outfield. Riley Greens should be coming up. That's good. We also traded for a good catcher, which gives us another year of having the kid in the minor leagues who's in AAA. So the Tigers have a great future ahead of them. But if you want to make the playoffs now, you better darn well sign a guy like Correa. Now, come on. He's such close friends with AJ. What are you guys not offering him that 10-year?
He would be the best replacement for Nico Goodrum. Correa is a shortstop.
We'll finally have a shortstop.
Correa doesn't nearly make as many errors as Nico Goodrum does.
I love what somebody said on Twitter the other day. He's one of the guys who always follows the Lions. He said, dude, can you imagine if you're AJ Hinch and you're talking to Correa going, hey, yeah, your double play partner next year is going to be Nico Goodrum, and watch the guy's head start hitting the table going, nope, not signing with you, man. Nope, not signing with you. At least with Jonathan Scope, you have a good second baseman because he don't have to play first base anymore because we got Torkelson coming in. There's your first baseman. And Miggy still can play first base a couple games a year, which is fine if you really want to put a show on. But you're still paying Miggy, what, 34, 32 million, I believe it is.
Year.
Oh, you got 2 years to go on that contract. That was a mistake. Let's be honest.
That was Dave Dombrowski.
Yes. Correa is at least, 26 years old, a lot younger than Miggy was when they did this. And he's not as hurt as Miggy was.
Over a decade apart.
Yes. And I would love Correa on this team. It would be amazing if they did it. But again, like you said, cheapskate Illich is the one that I worry about.
Chris, yeah.
If you're not
the parking lot king.
Thank you. If you're not going to want to spend the money, how about selling the team, please? If you don't want to spend the money to build a winner, now he's trying to. I love what he said. My dad spent all this money and we didn't win.
He spends money on black-colored box seats at Little Caesars Arena. He spent too much money on properties that keep failing. That's why they end up in parking lots.
Thank you. Exactly. And his dad, when he spent the money, the Tigers made the World Series twice. Hello. That's not being a failure. Who cares if they lost? They made it. American League champions. They were in the playoffs. How many years in a row? His dad built a good team. Now, Al Avila, is he a good GM? As much as I've been insulting him, I've got to be honest, Taylor, and say, okay, he done good in the drafts. Now, of course, when you get the number one pick 50 times in the last 51, he's done well. He's built that farm system back up that Dombrowski decimated. But you have to sign the superstars in order to win. And again, I'll look at the LA Dodgers. How much money did they pay Mookie? How much money? How much money did they pay him? How much money did they pay Mac?
Looking it up on Spot Track on the app.
I think he was at $28 million. They had a payroll of well over $200 million.
Keeps on freaking crashing. Yeah, but yeah, the Spot Track app keeps crashing. I'm gonna try to delete it and re-download it. But yeah, Mookie Betts kind of signed a hefty contract. I would bet.
In fact, I'm just looking it up right now. Mookie Betts contract. See if I can pull it up. Contract. Look at that. It came right up. He signed his 12-year extension with the Dodgers after they acquired him from the Red Sox. The extension began in 2021. He was due to earn $27 million in base salary in 2021, $27 million every year after that. Hello.
Oh, man.
They weren't afraid to spend money. If Chris Ilitch wants a team, stop insulting the fans. Do what is right. The guy wants to come to the Tigers because he's such close friends with AJ Hinch.
He needs to stop dick teasing the fans.
Yes.
With ticket promotions.
Yes.
When the Tigers and Red Wings don't have winning teams, winning products.
Yeah, and here we all thought, oh, look at the start the Red Wings had. They're going to be great. No, we knew what was going to happen. The Red Wings are 2 years away from being a playoff-bound Stanley Cup contender again. And Steve Yzerman is doing the right job. Look what he did in Tampa. They've won 2 Stanley Cups in a row. Those were his teams. Look what he built. So he can do that in Detroit. I still don't know if Al Avila's the right guy to do this. It's just me.
I think AJ Hinch is starting to control Al Avila's mind.
Yes, he is. And it's about time. The Tigers actually have a fantastic manager, obviously. Ronnie Gardenhire was a great stopgap. Let's be honest. He was the right guy they needed. Now you're moving on to that next level. Now you needed an AJ Hinch. He's got a great.
Well, Gardenhire was too old, and he got fired after 2014 by the Minnesota Twins.
Right. Exactly. And look, Ronnie he's a good teacher. AJ's a phenomenal teacher.
Oh, right.
There's everybody in the Tigers clubhouse loves him. They love his coaching staff. His pitching coach is fantastic. Yes. But we need a staff. Yes, Eduardo Rodriguez. That's step one. You need to get a left-hand starter. You have to have a left-handed starter come in. So you lost Matz. Let's move on. There's plenty of other pitchers out there. You also need to get a couple guys on the bench because we really don't have really good bench guys. Let's be honest. Nico's gone. Oh, thank God. Okay. That's good. Now can we get rid of one or two others and I'd be very happy? But that's just
Grayson Griner.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Oh, dear God. Why do you think the Tigers traded for a catcher? They needed one.
I think catcher Tucker Barnhart from the Cincinnati Reds. He's a good replacement for Griner.
Yes, he is. And he calls games very well. He'll be out now. The good thing about him is he'll be able to also teach guys like Casey Mize and Skubal and the others. That's what we need. You need a catcher who can teach. It's the old Lance Parrish, Bill Freehand way.
I think Tucker Barnhart is that guy.
Yes, sir. In fact, other than Lance Parrish and before him, if you remember Duke Sims, the Tigers have always had good teaching catchers. Not in the last decade, they haven't. They really haven't. We've just over the last since Pudge left, the Tigers have been as a team. We just need a few more parts. The Tigers are good. Look, the Pistons are trying. As much as I think Gores is still a putz, he's the owner, but I still think he's an idiot. I don't like absentee owners. That's me. I've never liked absentee owners.
How about Cade Cunningham?
Oh, he's special.
Why didn't they get the ball to him against the Los Angeles Lakers?
Yes, sir.
In a moment where the Pistons were with a few seconds left, the Pistons had a chance to tie it with a 3, and Hamidou Diallo just awkwardly turned the ball over.
Yes, sir.
It just passed right to a Los Angeles Laker.
And speaking of Lakers,
when Dwayne Casey could have formulated a play to get the ball to Cade Cunningham to tie it with a 3-bomb.
Exactly. And speaking of Lakers, how dare you only give LeBron James a 1-game suspension for what he did?
I think it was his first NBA offense.
I don't care.
That's why.
Because he's done this in the past. You and I both know that. He cut the man's face open.
Isaiah Stewart.
Yep. And for me, I'm defending Stewart on that. I wanted Stewart to pound him into the ground for what he did. I'm sorry, it was flagrant. It was rude. It was uncalled for. It was unnecessary, but that's LeBron. LeBron is
going after LeBron is one thing, but knocking over the other coaches.
Oh my God, man, we're sitting at the dinner table when the film came out, and I turned the phone and said to my wife, "Hey, it's Malice in the Palace too." She's like, "What?" I said, "Watch this." She's like, "Oh my God!" Stewart was going crazy. I thought he was going to jump into the stands and start beating people too. He was uncontrollable. He was angry. Yes, he was out of control angry. That was the bad thing. He was out of control angry.
That's why he was suspended only 2 games, because Isaiah Stewart is young.
He's young, and you know what? He'll learn, but that was a hell of a gash over his face. You just don't do that, LeBron. I don't care who you are. You just don't do that to another player. He had no, if you watch the replay, he had no reason to do it. He just decided to back up and go whammo. It's like, no. I don't care if you're LeBron or Wayne Gretzky. You're going to get hit for that, and you deserve it. Now, the Pistons, they're still about 4 players away from becoming a real contender. Let's be honest.
At least 4.
At least. Give him another couple of years, and now I'm going to go right into Mr. Casey. I don't know if he's the best coach.
He isn't.
Thank you. Now, I've seen your comments as well.
He decided not to turn to Kate Cunningham for what could have been a game-tying 3. Like I tried to point out, Dwayne Casey is inept.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. He is just, And they signed him to what? To a 2-year extension? So, hey. Yeah.
Tom Gores, what the hell are you thinking?
Well, he's the absentee owner. What does he care? He didn't have to build himself into an arena. He just, partnered with Little Caesars Arena. Come on, dude. First of all, you never should have moved out of the Palace, but that's just me. You never should have torn the Palace down. That's just me. That was the best arena. It really was. I love that.
The Palace, yeah. I was there one time in January 11, 2004 when the Pistons beat the Mavericks 115-102 before Rasheed Wallace was traded to the Pistons and came to them and helped them win the 04 championship.
Right, exactly. And Bill Davidson built himself a masterpiece there. And now that we're at the LCA, I mean, that's just, pardon my French, chicken shit on Gores' part. I want to come back to Detroit. Build an arena, dude. There's plenty of room down there. You don't need to go to the LCA. You could have actually even built on the Joe Louis Arena site. As they were tearing that down, no, I'm going to partner with the Red Wings. That tells you when you have an absentee owner what can happen. And because he's an absentee owner, until you get rid of a guy like him, I don't see the Pistons ever winning another championship. You need an owner. Now, I'm not going to make fun of the Jerry Jones. Oh, yes, I am. But you don't need an owner like a Jerry Jones, but you need to have a very good on-hand, meaning in that stadium audience owner who will show up like Bill Davidson did for every single game. The same way Mike Ilitch showed up for every single Red Wings and Tigers games when he was healthy. That's what you need in an owner. You don't need – Chris Ilitch is the same way. He doesn't show up to a lot of the games. He'll show up when they need a press conference. Oh, yeah.
Because Chris Ilitch doesn't care about how his teams are doing.
No, he doesn't.
Therefore, he should sell the both.
God,
he doesn't
love to sell both.
Yeah, he's not even listening to our demands to retire Sergei Fedorov's jersey number 91.
Don't even get me started on that. In fact, I was showing my wife a film last night that somebody had put on Twitter about Fedorov to retire his number. The film was amazing. The guy was so incredible. I don't care who he played for, whether it was Anaheim, whether it was Detroit, whether it was the Russian National Federation. He was phenomenal. He was an incredible, incredible hockey player, and you better retire his number. He won't do it. It's the same reason. Why isn't Mickey Lolich's number retired? Why isn't Bill Freehand's number retired? Chris Ilitch. Now, his father had plans to retire Mickey Lolich before he died, so that never happened. I need the numbers 11 and 29 up on that wall at Tiger Stadium. I really do. As a matter of fact, if you want to retire number 24 and Mickey Stanley too, I'd be very happy. These are guys who carried you, not just Kaline and Horton. Come on. These guys in the 68 team solidified and saved the city. And this has been my argument all along. When you have a team that can solidify and bring its city together after the riots like there were in 67. Look what they did in 1968. They brought a whole city together. You no longer had the blacks and the whites hating each other. You no longer had the cops being hated. Everybody was there celebrating in the streets together. So come on,
a world championship.
A world championship. Can you retire the right people's numbers? Yes, Mickey Lolich should be in the Hall of Fame. Don't ever argue with me, guys, about that. Otherwise, he should be there. He should absolutely. Come on, other than Steve Carlton, I'm sorry, who has the most strikeouts as a left-hander? Oh, that's right. His name is Mickey Lolich. Mickey
There you
Lolich,
go.
yeah, he missed out on the Cy Young Award in 1972 because of a guy named Vida Blue when he won 29 games. Come on. Okay, so Vida Blue beat him. Mickey was phenomenal. Bill Freehand, what a man in the community. Also, again, what he did at the University of Michigan. He was absolutely incredible. No, we're not retiring his number. What's wrong with you, Chris? If you don't want to do the right thing, get out. And that's what I say. I've been saying this for years about Detroit sports. Mike Ilitch was a hands-on owner. William Clay Ford, I don't even want to go there. That guy was a jackass. What he did to the Lions, he built the Lions into a nothing from 1960. Why? There were a tax write-off to him. He didn't care.
1963.
Yep. From the time that he bought the team forward, look what they haven't done. And Martha Ford, what is she, 99 or 100 years old right now? And so her daughter, Sheila Hamp, is running the team. What the hell does she know about football? I'm sorry.
Nothing. Neither does Rod Wood. And they haven't even paid Calvin Johnson's $1.6 million back when he needed it. When he still needs it.
Yes. Rod Wood, the family attorney. Let's make him the president of the team. I mean, come on. This is what we suffer.
In his own words, he says he's not a football guy.
Exactly. He doesn't know football from his hole in the head. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Right.
Again, if you're not going to be there to build a winner, and that's what fans in Detroit deserve. Fans everywhere deserve that with their teams. Hell, when the Cleveland Browns finished 0-16, and now last year they finished, 11-5? Okay, so they're a little off this year. Even they're better than the Lions. You have destroyed this team for, let's make the same joke, rebuilding since 1957. That's the Detroit Lions. Okay, how many generations of people have died watching these idiots lose? And it's because the owner doesn't care. He hired guys like Russ Thomas, who was a jerk, was a drunk. And then he hired Matt Millen. Oh, God help me. And then they wanted to turn the team into the New England Patriots. Yeah, that worked out well for you,
Matt Patricia.
Oh, God.
And Bob Quinn.
Where is, again, I know Patricia is back with the Patriots. Where's Quinn? Is he even in football now? Did anybody even hire him?
I haven't even heard of it, to be honest with you. So I can't guess. I can't tell. I can't say anything.
He's an idiot. Sorry. I'm very sorry. He
even drafted Jeff Okuda. I thought he was the lead at Ohio State. But wow, he just collapsed for year one and year two.
And I had such high hopes with that kid. I actually wanted the Lions to draft him because I thought he was that good.
Right.
I thought he was actually going to be fantastic in the secondary. Nope, sorry. Then he tore his Achilles again this year. I feel bad for the kid that he's been hurt like this, but still. You got paid a lot of money, dude. A lot of money, and we wasted it. It's the same thing on Jared Goff. Boy, did we waste that money. Okay, so we made the trade. Yeah, we're not a good team. We're never going to be a good team until we get a new owner. Let's be honest. You need a new owner in baseball. You need a new owner in basketball. You need a new owner in hockey. Oh, God, that's horrible. And this ain't Bill Davidson. Bill Davidson, he won with the Pistons about 3 times. We won 3 championships. Mike Ilitch, he did win with the Red Wings. Let's give him credit. He won the Stanley Cups, the Red Wings. He got us to the playoffs 20
4
years
Stanley
ago.
Cups.
Right.
Mike Ilitch.
Okay, so he didn't win with the Tigers, but he got us to the World Series in 2006 and 2012. Okay, guys, he did his job. His kid.
Well, almost. Got to win those rings.
Well, here's my theory's always been the Tigers exited out of the ALCS both those years too early. We had too much time off, and that's why we lost. We lost to the Cardinals 4-1 because we had that week off.
When it mattered the most.
Right, and then we had that week off before we played the Giants, and they swept us because we just had too much time on our hands. If the Tigers, this is why I always love when the ALCS will go to 5, 6, or 7 games. The guys are still warm. You're still there. You've had that experience, and you're still ready to play. After a week off, man, there's too much that's happened. And the Tigers proved that twice of how bad it can be. And that's okay. But we still won 2 American League championships. That's more than the Lions have won, kids. When you've had the Ford, and then you name the field after yourselves. I mean, come on. Sorry, that's just me. At least Mike Ilitch sold the rights to Comerica Park. That was nice. In Little Caesars Arena, yeah, I can understand that because Little Caesars is a huge sponsor, and they put in Little
For the
Caesars.
Red Wings.
Right. The Little Caesars, the brand, put in over $100 million into the Red Wings. That helps. But why aren't you transferring that same style of money into the Tigers, dude? What's wrong with you? Don't ever say $300 million is too much money for one player. You want to win? I'm sorry. That's what it takes to win. Thank you. Prove it. The Dodgers proved it. Look at them. They've been in the World Series, 2 years in a row. Let's go back to 2018. So 3 times in 5 years. 3 times in 4 years. Sorry. The Dodgers have been in the World Series. My bad. 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. They proved it. They want a winner. They got a winner. They spent the money. Magic Johnson and the boys spent the money. What are we doing here, guys? We're going to sign Eduardo Rodriguez. He's good, but he's not top tier. You want top tier? I want a Max Scherzer back with this team. You should have gone in on JV and said, we'll pay you $28 million a year to come in for 2 years. You spend a $200 million payroll, which is what it takes to win in baseball, except if the New York Yankees and you're a bunch of morons with Cashman's an idiot and Boone's a fool. But that's just me. Now I'm talking like one of my good friends who lives in Houston, who every time the Yankees lost during this year, he kept sending me a text saying Boone needs to be canned. Sure, but they just signed Boone to an extension. That tells you how the Yankees don't care right now. The man doesn't win. Why are you signing him to an extension? And Cashman, he's a putz as a GM. But at least the Yankees still make the playoffs. What do we do here in Detroit? We haven't done nothing in the last 6-7 years.
There's only one Steinbrenner.
Yeah, thank you. His family wants to spend the money still. Now, they made a mistake by putting Boone in as manager and keeping Cashman as the GM. But the Tigers, when Mike Ilitch dumped Dave Dombrowski, okay, I can see that happening. That's fine. But Al Avila, I'm sorry, I like this kid a lot better than I do him. Even though maybe he's done good in the draft and we've had good scouts, I don't see a winner yet. Now, I know that AJ, give him time, but if he doesn't have the personnel, he ain't going to win. And right now, he had the Nico Goodrums of the world. Of course, you're not going to win. He had Grayson Grinders of the world. You definitely ain't going to win.
Too many pass balls.
Oh, my God, yes. I've never seen as many pass balls as that guy. And then he would lumber after the baseball, which was even funnier. But where's the ball? Where's the ball? Oh, it's over there. And he would lumber like he was moving in slow motion. I'm surprised the guys didn't round the base and come home half the time. Now, of course, the only thing I can say is look at Tampa Bay with their speed. Now, yes, they have a low payroll, but they just signed one of their guys to a $250 million contract now, didn't they, the other day? They're willing to spend the money. Well, we spent the money on Eduardo Rodriguez. That's what Chris Ilitch said, defending himself. That's one guy, dude. You have 24, 25 guys. You have a 40-man roster. Can we sign 4 or 5 more guys, please? Well, we have good talent. No, you don't have enough talent. Now, I'm sorry. I love Miguel Cabrera. He should have retired a year ago, but that's just me.
Well, he should have retired.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but his olays, as I call it, at the plate.
Don't just sign 4 or 5 guys. Stack the freaking deck.
Thank you. Which is what Mike Ilitch did, if you remember. He stacked the deck with our team. If you think of the guys who've gone on to win World Series rings who we've gotten rid of, the pitchers alone, come on. Look what we've done, guys.
Well, we need a bullpen too.
Yes. Drew Smiley just finally won himself a World Series. Hello. Thank you. He was the last guy. Smiley. We had Verlander. You had Scherzer. Who else has won? Porcello has won. I'm forgetting the other fellow who was playing. He played for Boston. He was with the Tigers. Price also won the World Series. David Price. JD Martinez. Let's get rid of him, guys. That was smart. Castellanos. Let's get rid of him too. That was smart. You fools. And what did you get in return for them? You got nothing. Because Chris Ilitch didn't want to pay him. That was the big thing. Now all of a sudden he wakes up and goes, I got to spend money.
For what?
For what?
On what?
On what? Have you heard of Too Little, Too Late? People don't trust.
Failed properties.
Thank you. They don't trust Illich. They don't
Pizza.
trust Vila. Pizza, thank you. Hey, Little Caesars makes billions of dollars. Let's be honest.
Right.
They make billions of dollars. Okay, you took the profits and you put it into the Red Wings. And now you're putting it into the Red Wings again. Hello, are you forgetting the other team that you own? What's
The
wrong
Tigers,
with you?
yeah.
Yes. What's wrong with you? First of all, I'm the type of guy who has always said, one man, one woman, it don't matter if it's, I'm going to use Mark Schott. One man or one woman should not own more than one sports franchise. That's just me talking. The Red Wings never should have been sold to Illich, but of course he won with them, so I'm never going to complain. However, now that Daddy is dead, what are we doing? That's my complaint with the Tigers. What if
they're still marrying Illich too? Don't forget.
Oh my God! Well, she's too busy controlling the casinos in Detroit. Let's be honest. She has her big casinos in Detroit, so what does she care? And again,
she's holding them slaves.
Yeah. Oh my God, is she ever? But they're making a couple $1 billion a year at the casino. So you're looking at Little Caesars, the pizzas. You're looking at the casinos, and you're telling me you're not going to spend $300 million on Carlos Correa? What? What kind of pigs are you? How much money do you need to live? You want to win, you hire the talent. You hired the right manager, let's be quite honest. And he brought
bring in talent now. Quit wasting everyone's time.
Thank you. I'm so sick and tired of the Lions selling out. People are stupid in Detroit, but we're loyally stupid.
And deflective and defiant.
Yes, sir. We sell out.
They'll never grow up.
No, we sell out the Lions. We have great audiences for Comerica. We have great audiences at the LCA. Always.
There's even Detroit people on Twitter that deflect, such as Detroit Drew, Nicholas Henkel.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on those boys. The deflections kill me. And every time I want to strike,
they broadcast on Woodward Sports Media.
Oh, don't even talk to me about those guys. You know, they actually came to me, as arrogant and stupid as they are. They came to me and wanted me to do an interview. You know what my answer was? Bite me. I will not do an interview with them on Anderson. I just don't want it. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't like what they represent. I don't like the way they talk. I don't like what they have to say 99% of the time. No, thank you. I want nothing to do with those boys. Let's be very honest. When all you can do is snipe and make stupid comments. No. Let's talk facts. Like you and I are talking facts of the ownership. I don't want to deflect. We're being honest here. Our ownership and GMs suck in both the Lions and the Tigers.
Hit it where it hurts.
Right. The Red Wings, hey, they brought in Stevie Eiser. And why? You brought him back home. You never should have let him go in the first place. Okay? You shouldn't have let Ken Holland stay with the Wings. He should have gone to Edmonton 78 years ago. Look what Stevie did in Tampa. Now, give him time. Leave him alone. He'll do it with the Red Wings. His drafts have been fantastic. His drafts in the last 3 seasons have been absolutely spectacular. And he's signed 1 or 2 free agents. It's okay. He's trying. We traded for a goaltender this year. He did the right thing, getting the fellow from the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, the only mistake he made was sign Jeff Blashill to a 2-year extension.
Oh, I thought his best.
And try to hire Alex Tanguay as an assistant coach. Alex Tanguay is a good power play specialist, a great one. He showed it in the AHL with the Iowa Wild.
Yes, sir.
In 2 seasons.
But I'm sorry, but there's a little guy named Gerard Gallant. Why the hell didn't you hire him when they got rid of him in Vegas? He's Eiserman's best friend. You should
went
have
to the
brought
Rangers
him right there and then. Gallant would have been the right head coach for this team.
Yes.
And he sent Blashill to an extension. I'm like, what are you doing? You got Jerry Gallant sitting out there, you putz. Why haven't you brought him in as your assistant GM if you didn't want him as your head coach? What's wrong with you? Right now, they're talking Gallant's going to be the next head coach of the Panthers. That don't surprise me. Florida will hire him in a heartbeat. That's fine. He's a great head coach. He's a Red Wing. Can we bring him home, please? He's proven himself. Jeff Blashill, he was a good minor league coach. That's all I'm going to say.
The AHL, yeah, but that's all the good he has done in his entire resume.
Sir. Yes, sir. He's done nothing in the NHL. Nothing. And I question a lot of his line-making decisions. I still do. We're, 10 games into the season, 12 games into the season. He keeps mixing the lines up. The only way you're going to win, Florida Panthers, as they have been, you have solid lines together. Stop mixing them up. You have the guys playing together on one line like the old Red Wings did. You know, the Russian five. We had everybody on their designated lines and we kicked the crap out of everyone. Yzerman needs to get rid of Blashill. He's letting him make too many decisions, and I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I love the Red Wings. You and I both are going to say that we're homers for life, which we are. But, God, can we stop suffering, please? But then again, you and I can make that same joke, Taylor. Wait a minute. Why the hell are you insulting the Red Wings? They made the playoffs 21 years in a row. Yes, they did.
25.
Yes, 25. Okay, yes, they did. But we shouldn't have torn the team down the way we did. I'm sorry. 25 should have been 30. 30 should have been 35. That's the kind of team that you should have kept.
And still counting.
And still counting. Exactly. You should never have torn the team down. Why? Well, we needed to save payroll. No, you did not. You didn't need to save one dime with the money you were making.
That doesn't explain it.
No, but they got rid of the wrong players. They got rid of the wrong coach. They hired the wrong coach.
Well, Mike Babcock.
I'm sorry. I like Babcock. I was one of the few.
Yeah. I like Babcock too. Just the old players like Jonathan Erickson, Justin Applicator, Darren Helm. They during the mid 2000 teens, they just did not excel. It was a disease.
Right. Exactly. Now Applicator, he was a great player at Michigan State. He was good for a while with the Wings, but nope. They did not do the jobs that they were hired to do. Let's be honest. They did not.
The last few years, Applicator could not even skate.
No, sir, he could not. And you remember the speed that Darren Helm had when he first came into the league? He was phenomenal. Yep. And then he got hurt and he started slowing down. The moment he was slowing down is the moment you should have said bye-bye and done it dignified.
And they still – and Holland signed him to a four-year extension. Yes, now Helm's with the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, but he's half the man that he used to be, let's be honest. He's half the player that he used to be because of the injuries, and that's fine. But
Nicholas Kronwall.
Right. If you can find me 5 players who have the speed of a Darren Helm, I'm happy. Now, Mo Sider, does he have the speed? Yes. This kid has put on some great moves. He really has.
He was a rookie of the month in October.
Yes, sir. He is phenomenal. Now, there's your building blocks, guys. You've got the building block. Let's bring some more of the kids up. But I don't think we can suffer another 2-3 years without making the playoffs. People are getting very frustrated with the Red Wings. They're not getting frustrated with Yzerman. They understand the hand that he was dealt. Let's be honest. Ken Holland dealt him a bad hand. Horrible what he had to put up with and horrible what he has to get rid of.
Yeah, Blashill, yeah.
Yeah, and get rid of Blashill, bring in a guy like Gerard Gallant. You know, I'm sorry. I hate to say it now.
Either that or promote Alex Tangay to head coach.
Yes, sir. Agreeable. Absolutely agreeable.
And hire an assistant coach that's more defensive minded.
Yes, sir.
Mentally.
You said the key word, mentally. Because right now, sometimes when you're watching
block shots.
Yes.
And protect your goaltender.
Right. When you're watching the Wings, especially in the third period this season, I've been scratching my head going, what the hell am I watching?
They even lost to a Coyotes team that had an absolutely terrible record.
Thank you. We beat the crap out of Vegas at home, and then we go to Vegas and don't even show up on the ice. It's like, what are you doing? No. You need consistency, and we don't have that with the Red Wings.
Blashill doesn't have it.
No, Blashill is not.
Trashill.
Crashill, did you call him?
Yep, because Frank Badger's been calling him the same thing.
Crashill, I like it.
A trashill, not crashill.
Trashill, not crashill. Thank you.
As in garbage.
Yes, he is garbage. He's total. He is a good minor league coach. Let him go back and let him go back to Grand Rapids, as far as I'm concerned. Let him go back there. That's fine. He can't do much damage.
Or maybe he could be a TV analyst instead of a coach.
Sorry. No. Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. What's going to happen when Mickey Redmond dies? You guys are so screwed. You don't have anybody in the background. You don't have anybody to replace him.
Not even Chris Osgood or Larry Murphy?
No, they don't have that personality. They don't have Mickey's personality. Mickey's crazier than hell, and I love it. I will say that we do have.
Well, Mickey Redmond used to continuously blame the refs.
Of course he did, because he did when he was a player too, if you remember.
Yeah, that's not even funny. It's just toxic.
It is.
It just doesn't help.
Yeah, you don't remember Mickey like I do as a player. He always blamed the refs, even when any call was made. He was Gordie Howe of his generation. Gordie always blamed the refs too. Gordie always would mouth off to the refs. So did Mickey. But Mickey's a great analyst. We have a fantastic play-by-play man.
Ken Daniels, yeah.
Yeah, now I go to the Tigers and say, what the hell are we doing with our play-by-play man and our color man on the
Matt Shepard, Jack Morris, Kirk Gibson? Well,
what is Gibson even saying half the time? I'm very sorry. I know I don't want to insult a man with Parkinson's, but what the hell is he talking about half the time? I don't get it. All of a sudden, he comes up with this gibberish, and I'm like, what? What did he just say?
Don't forget Dan Dickerson and Jim Price.
Jimmy is not doing too good. It's time for now. I like where they auditioned. They had Austin Jackson.
I'm tired of Jim Price. He used to be good in the 90s.
Right. Jimmy needs to retire. Yeah. First of all, he's
already been a geriatric for like the last 2 decades now.
Yes, but he's now, the worst thing is if you listen to the broadcast, he's been slurring his words quite a bit. Something's wrong. I don't know if, God forbid, he had a mini stroke. God forbid, I wish the man nothing but good health. But it's time. And they had Austin Jackson come in and Curtis Granderson, if you remember. One of those two could be a very good color analyst for Dickerson. One of the two would be great. Or how about if you hire them both and put one of them in with Matt Shepard?
Just got an update. Lions will start Jared Goff at quarterback against the Bears. Well, whether you start Jared Goff or Tim Boyle or David Blau, you don't have a quarterback. No. But back to the Tigers.
Yes, back to the Tigers. Thank you very much. And we'll talk about the Lions and cry again in a minute. The Tigers, ever since Ernie Harrell, they've been trying to replace the right guy. They do have the right guy on radio. You never should have fired Mario. I'm sorry. You have a chance to have brought him back, and you should have. Who cares about Rod Allen? Mario's a phenomenal play-by-play man. He really is. You need to bring a guy like that back. Matt's good, but if you give him the right color man, I think he'll be better. I really do. You give him the right color man, I think he'll be very good. But right now, Jack Morris, of course, forget the insult that he did this year. That was stupid. When he made that stupid comment about
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. Hold on. What a schmuck. That was a
accent imitation. Yeah, Valley Sports found it racist.
Yeah, when he did that, I stopped the TV and I said to myself, wait a minute, backed it up, played it again, and went, oh, God, you just screwed yourself in today's world, Jack. Now, Jack is not that good of a color man. Kirk Gibson is he's just not there. It's time. You want to keep the fans excited. You want to keep the fans tuned in.
Educated.
These two guys.
Not just excited, but educated. You got to teach them the game.
Right. This is
they
where
need criticism.
They need. Oh, yeah. I don't see Jack Morris criticizing as much as he used to. Kirk Gibson doesn't criticize anybody. Oh, no. Sorry. And again, I wish Kirk nothing but good health. I'm wondering if the health, the Parkinson's, has affected him at all. Sometimes when he speaks the gibberish, I really worry about that. But we're Detroit, baby. We're a major market. You need professionals in those seats. Now, of course, you've got the best hockey play-by-play man in the business, as far as I'm concerned.
Whether it's Ken Daniels or Ken Cal.
Yep, they're both phenomenal.
What do you think of Paul Woods?
I like Paul. I just have never been so excited by him. I like him he's a good man. But no, I'm sorry. It's just not the old days as far as I'm concerned. And then when we talk about the Lions, forget it. Don't even get me started about play-by-play with the Lions. Oh my God.
At least I like Dan Miller. He criticizes them from time to time.
That's true, but you need professionals in there, guys. It's the same thing with the University of Michigan.
Not Lions cheerleaders.
Oh God! Thank God. I'm sorry. The old fat. I'm sorry. I'm going to make fun of him. Jim Brandfatter. He's retiring. He never should have been a play-by-play man. I'm so sorry.
For Michigan.
Yeah, I'm an old play-by-play
That
guy.
ball is incomplete.
Thank you. I cringe every time I listen to him. It's like, come on, dude. I can do better with my eyes closed. And
Even cringier than Dan Dickerson. Sometimes when he calls play-by-play, he just gives a reaction instead of calling the action exactly as it is when we need it the freaking most.
Yes. Yes. Dan has tried at times to be Ernie Harwell. You ain't no Ernie Harwell. I'm sorry. At least Ernie would make fun of people. A guy from Taylor just caught the ball. Yeah, thanks, Ernie. That was perfect.
And how does he know those guys from those locations? It's just incredible. Where does he pick it up?
He made it up as he went along. He had fun because it kept the people engaged. He had Paul Carey cracking up every 5 minutes. The two of them cracking up every 5 minutes. Those were the two best radio announcers in the history of professional sports.
I got a framed picture of them.
Do you? I love it. Please tell me it's signed.
It's signed by both of those guys.
Thank you. Good. I have one as well from them. They're just, I love them. Paul Carey was the voice of God. Let me be honest. When I was doing play-by-play, I tried to emulate him at times, but I could never get my voice to go that low. I'm very sorry. Yeah. But I will say one thing about Jim Brandstatter. Nah. Frank Beckman, he's the one who taught me. Frank taught me how to do play-by-play. Frank was phenomenal when he did that. Frank is the one that taught me how to, and in fact, I was telling this to my wife just yesterday.
He had a great voice too.
Yes.
He even did the Tigers too.
Yes, he did.
He did almost, or actually every single pro sports team in Detroit.
Yes, he did. He was from here.
Almost, except for the Red Wings.
Yeah, yes. By Frank's own admission, he couldn't do hockey. It was too fast for him. Way too fast. Yep. And I was telling my wife yesterday, for some reason yesterday, I was on my feet for like 7 hours. Don't ask why. I can't even tell you why. From like noon until my wife came home at 7. And my wife said something to me. She made a joke to me. At your age, what the hell are you standing up? Do you hurt? How's your back? I'm like, no. And then I said to her, what Frank Beckman taught me, my first day meeting him, when I told him I was going to become the play-by-play guy at Michigan, he said, you're never going to sit down. Don't ever sit down when you're in the booth. You're always going to stand because you can see the whole field better, of course, when you're standing. The only time you're going to put your elbows down on the table is when there is a break in the action. You're still not going to sit down. You're not going to sit down on halftime. You're going to stand up. You're going to stay standing up. Why? It's going to make you a better play-by-play man. And I said that to my wife. I said, look, I'm so used to standing up at 7 hours. I didn't even know 6.5 hours had gone by when I was on the phone with her yesterday.
I've been a play-by-play announcer for 5 years at WMLM 105.9 FM 1520 AM, and I've stood up at times just so I can see the action.
Wait a minute. You telling me you sit down during the games?
No, stand up.
Okay. Have you ever sat down while you're doing the
play-by-play? I have sat down too.
Okay, I'm going to shoot you. Don't ever do that. And the reason why is you become too comfortable.
Only when I see the action clearly. If I don't, that's when I stand up.
Oh, the only way. Well, of course, if you're at the big house, like in Ann Arbor, or if you're at the Horseshoe, you need to stand up because you need to see everything that's going on from side to side.
Right.
And in fact, I still tell people that I do this when I'm watching games on TV. I am the most unusual guy you'll ever meet. When the cameras have the high angles, that's what I love the best. Why? I'm looking still at the entire field during football games. I'm seeing who's coming in, who's coming out, who's positioning here, who's positioning there. It's something that's always going to be ingrained with you, that once you do play-by-play, you're always going to be a play-by-play guy. And Jim Brandstatter has never stood up once. That's my problem with him too. Of course, when you weigh 950 pounds, okay, be mean. Don't be mean to Jim. Sorry. Don't be mean to Jim. He was a decent color man. He never was a play-by-play guy. I'm sorry. He's just not it. And this is what I say about guys like Matt Shepard. Matt, you just don't describe the plays the way they should be. If the game's on TV, especially
the way they actually occur.
Thank you. And you're not talking the way that it's actually occurring as it's unfolding in front of your and my eyes as the audience. You got a problem. You got a big problem there, son. And then if you're letting your color guy talk over you, as Miguel Cabrera just hit a four-seamer out of the ballpark, and by the time he's running second base, oh, it's gone. What the hell? Wait a minute, timeout. You're 30 seconds behind the times. What's wrong with you? That's what Brandstatter is. Brandstatter is 30 seconds behind the times always during the games. And like you said, oh, the ball's been fumbled. You want to describe the play of what the fumble or where the scramble is, who may or may not have the ball, who's on top of the ball? He doesn't know how to do that.
The player fumbled it by himself.
Yeah, thank you. Or best way to put it, I'll use the famous,
instead of blaming field conditions.
Thank you. I'll use that famous muffed punt. Michigan State. The guy who was doing the play-by-play on ABC, he was phenomenal. But if you listen,
Keith Jackson.
Right. If you listen to
Keith Jackson was an icon.
Yes, sir. So was Dick Enberg. These are the guys that I learned from.
Oh, yeah.
These are the guys that I learned how to do the play-by-play from, because they're seeing things that you just aren't even imagining that you can be seen. And that's why when you have your eyes, as you know, as a play-by-play guy, all over the field, you're going to see everything unfolding as it happens. You're going to be able to anticipate, as Steve Smith, for example, of Michigan's dropping back for the pass. As he's dropping back, your eyes are already downfield, knowing who he's going to target and knowing where that ball's going to be. So the moment that the ball's thrown, you're talking about it, you're already there. Not Jimmy Brandstatter. He'll talk about it when the play is over. Well, the pass went for 15 yards. And it's like, yeah, who caught the ball, Jim? I'm sorry. I didn't catch the number. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. You have a spotter for a reason. If you're doing that, I hope you have a spotter when you're doing play.
Jim Brandstatter is too inept and geriatric to do a play-by-play ever.
Sir. By the way, here's my big question to you. Do you have a spotter when you're doing play-by-play?
I do not. I come alone.
Ooh, you're a better man. Much better man. Because I was always equipped with my spotter, my color guy, and the engineer right behind me, always talking into my headphones. The spotter was there. We had the depth charts, everything that were made, because my idea is if I'm watching the play unfold, I'm not always going to catch who's making the tackle, but your spotter is pointing right there. So your eye immediately goes, oh, the tackle was made by number 94, Keith Jackson, or whoever. Why? Because that's what the spotter's job is. He's there to be your cover. There's a lesson for you as you're doing play-by-play.
I got programs. I got the program right in front of me with the names and numbers.
Wow, you're a better man.
That's all I need.
Ooh. You are one of the few guys that will ever say that, my friend. Every broadcaster has a spotter.
I just use my brain. That's all I do.
Which means you're a hell of a lot smarter than guys like me was. That's for sure. I always had to rely on my spotter.
Everyone can use their brains, no matter what age.
That's true. But when you have a good depth chart and a guy pointing in front of you, it makes life easier. Because for me, it kept the game flowing. It kept it flowing because he's pointing to who made the tackle or who he believed recovered the fumble, and you're already talking about it as it's unfolding. Why? That's what you're supposed to do. Again, that's what Frank Beckman taught me. Always have a spotter. Always have that engineer talking into your studio or into your headphones. Always have the color guy talking. But when they all talk at once is when you better be able to differentiate and be able to keep talking on your own. That's the fun part. Having four people talking to your headset at once, those are always the best. And that's something that has always tripped up Jim Brandstatter, by the way. You can always tell when somebody else is talking in his headset because he's like, and he hesitates. No, don't hesitate. Now, the average fan isn't going to understand and isn't going to know it, but guys like you and me are like, hey, what is he doing? It's the same thing with Matt Shepard.
Yeah, because the average fan does not care.
No.
He just wants entertainment. He doesn't want to be educated. That's the problem with fan bases.
Thank you, sir. Exactly. That is exactly the problem with fan bases. They don't want to be educated.
Because they don't use their brains. They don't care. We don't care about them either. They don't want to listen to us. No. Screw them.
I just want to sit on my couch with a beer and eat my chips. Okay. That's fine. But you're embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. So
why are you making that public?
Right. And these are kind of guys that
even news personalities on 9 and 10 News like Eric Lloyd show us his glass of beer while watching the friggin' game. Nobody cares.
Don't do that. You have things like this, guys. Water. Don't have beer. You freaking idiots. Thank you. Of course, guys like you and I on the radio, no one sees this. So, hey, they don't know what we're sipping and what we're drinking. But you also have to know that you don't sip or drink something like this in the middle of a play. You wait until the whistle blows, take the quick sip, keep right on talking. Let your color guy do it and talk a little bit while you're taking a sip of water. That's the way we play baseball.
Dylan Larkin just scored 2-1 Red Wings.
I was wondering what you were looking at. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wings have been on. You're right. Since 7:30. Good. The Wings are winning.
Yeah, they're on Bally Sports Detroit Plus and ESPN Plus as well.
Oh, ESPN Plus. We got big time tonight. Very good.
Which might be blacked out, but I got Bally Sports Detroit Plus. I get the game any way I can.
Why do you think I'm living in Florida and I have DirecTV? I have Bally Plus for the Lions. For the Red Wings, for the Tigers, and the Pistons. I got to have my Detroit sports, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is what keeps me in tune. Or, as I say to people, this thing right here, the first thing I pull up every single morning is the Detroit Free Press and the Detroit News. Why?
They're lazy shills.
You can't take Detroit out of the boy. You just can't take it out of me.
Oh, right. The Free Press and the News. Yeah. They're like journalistic cheerleaders they're journalists that act like cheerleaders, such as Chris McCoskey and Carlos Monterez and Helene St. James and Vince Ellis, Lynn Henning.
Don't make Wojo jokes.
Anthony Fennick. Oh, yeah. Bob Wanowski.
Yeah, Wojo, I love him. He's a good man. He and I are very good friends. He's one of the few old-time reporters that are left who know how to write well, as far as I'm concerned. Wojo covers things very well. He does.
Oh, right.
He always has.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But again, when I was up in Detroit in June and I turned on Channel 7, boy, do I miss guys like Bill Bonds, I got to tell you.
Bill Bonds, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely Brad Galley can't replace him.
No, I'm very sorry. He cannot. Guys like Rich Fisher, all the old-time real good reporters are long.
Yes. Those were professionals back in the day, I'll bet, even when I was not watching.
Right, Jack LeGoff.
Because I was out of the area.
Right, John Kelly, Marilyn.
That's the only reason why.
Yes.
Jack, yes.
These were guys who were phenomenal. Hell, I'll go to the sports reporters. Jim Forney, may you rest in peace. Al Ackerman, may you rest in peace.
Al Ackerman, yes. That's a familiar name.
Yes, sir.
Remember his heated exchange with Dick Vitale?
Oh my God, yes. And his other famous think fifth place for the Tigers when Ralph Houk was the manager. He started that syndrome going, think fifth place. Tigers suck, think fifth place. Yep, okay, I love it. Ackerman was fantastic. But I'll share a quick aside about how good of a man he was. One of my best friends growing up from elementary school into high school, a kid by the name of Mark Kunin, Kunin. Mark was 17 years old. He had been drafted by the Yankees as a third baseman. And he was playing Babe Ruth baseball, which is up above Little League. And he was killed. He was killed by a pitcher who had hit the first three batters. And Mark's last words to us were, hey, I bet you he hit
Was it figure of speech or was it real?
It was real.
My God.
The pitcher had hit the first three batters. And these are in the days before we had the side flaps.
He actually died.
Yes, he hit Mark in the back of the head and severed his spinal cord. And killed
Did he not wear a helmet?
Mark had a helmet on, but you didn't have the extension in the helmets back then, and it killed him.
Oh, no cushion.
No cushion.
No protection. No padding protection.
And I will say that it was because of Mark's father that minor league baseball, high school, college, minor league, and major leagues came up with because of him, the double flap and the cushion in the back because of Mark's father after that. But when Mark died, and one of my other best friends and I wanted to have a baseball field in the city of Southfield, where we grew up, dedicated in Mark's name behind the city's civic center. It was a beautiful baseball field that had been built. And the city was ignoring us. We went to Al Ackerman, us two kids, and said, Al, can you help us? He led the way. And the field was dedicated in Mark's name. Al came out that day. He didn't bring his cameras with him. He came out, he spoke. He was the most eloquent, sweetest man for that gruff persona you'd ever want to see in your life. He loved kids.
He had heart.
He loved sports. He loved making fun of everybody. That's the old sportscasters that I miss.
Hard-hitting commentary.
Oh, my God. He was amazing.
With a soul.
With a soul. Thank you. when he would make fun of Ralph Hoke. Ralph Hoke was, he was a legend by the time he came to the Detroit Tigers. He ripped him to shreds, but he always went out with a drink. He always took him out for a drink after the game.
I've got the Al Ackerman in me. Jeff Moss had the Al Ackerman in him.
Yes, sir. And he's the way. Al Ackerman and Frank Beckman are the two guys that I always try to emulate when I was broadcasting. Why? Because Al tells it like it is, and this is why.
Howard Cosell used to do.
Right. This is why when I'll flip it right back real quick to the presser at the University of Michigan. When I had to face those cameras, the first person that I was thinking of when I was looking at all those cameras was Al. Tell it like it is. Don't bullshit. Tell it like it is and
don't shill.
Right. Do not be a shill for Michigan. Tell it like it is. And if it hurts them, don't give a damn. That's how hearing Al Ackerman in my mind, because this is how Al was. We don't have people like that around anymore. We have too many shills, too many
cheerleaders.
Thank you. Too many cheerleaders, too many unprofessional broadcasters, whether they're men or women, it doesn't matter to me in sports. They're just not of the
whether even Tori Petrie or Brooke Fletcher.
Yeah, I don't care how good looking you are. Can you have
Robert Banker of Gaines Media?
Thank you. And this is why I've always said this about the women broadcasters.
Robert came after me one time on YouTube for slamming Dennis Fithian, and then I fired back at him and I kept blocking him, and he went after me again, and then I just apologized and then I blocked him, and then we both moved on.
That's it. And this, I've always said this about female sportscasters. You don't have to try to be a pretty face. If you are competent, if you can talk, if you are good at what you do, no one's going to care what you look like. Your looks ain't going to matter. I don't care who you are. Now, of course, us guys who have faces for radio, that's us. I've only done 2 television broadcasts in my life, and thank God they never put the camera on me.
Yeah. They have unprofessionals like Ryan Armani and Braylon Edwards on Woodward Sports.
Oh, thank you. I mean, why would you even do a podcast when you're going to act so unprofessional and childish? That's the way I look at it.
They just want to be attention whores.
Thank you. They're attention whores.
Male or female.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's like, I'm sorry to insult the Erin Andrews of this world, but what does she bring to sports? What does she bring to the sidelines? Nothing. You don't have anything upstairs to bring forward. Get out of the game. You've got nothing. Now, of course, I take a look at the guys who, as they're aging. Al is what, 75 years old, and he's still doing Sunday and Monday night footballs. Wow, 75 years old. When I'm 75, I still wish I hope to God I have a voice like him. Come on. Yeah, I still remember him as I'm calling him a young man in the 1980 Olympics. Do you believe in miracles? Al Michaels was phenomenal. He's still the same guy. Why? He's never changed. Your Bob Costases have never changed. Your Dick Enbergs never changed. The Ernie Harwells never changed.
They call it fair and square.
Right. Do not ever try to make yourself into something that you are not. And if you don't know anything about what you're speaking of, shut up. That's the guys on Woodward Sports. Just shut up. Just shut the hell up. I don't want to hear from you. If you're going to talk about substance, that's great. I've stopped listening to them now. I can't do it anymore. Every time I see them turning themselves on, I'm like, nope, goodbye. I don't want to hear you. You bring nothing to the table for me, which is why I have to say with your podcast, you guys bring great stuff to the table. You really do. This is what we need out there in the world, guys. You're the younger generations. You're the ones replacing guys like me and the guys like Frank Beckman. We're the ones, as we look back, that we hope you can do what we did. And to be proud of, which I am, of what you do. Why? Because you are exactly what we need out there. When you go on the attack run, you do it the right way. When you talk about sports when you talk about statistics and you talk about the good sides and the bad sides, you present everything the both ways. That's what you need to do. Don't ever be a homer. If you're ever, who was the guy at the University of Michigan? Bob Ufer. May he rest in peace.
Bob Uecker,
the ultimate homer. Don't ever be that way. Do not ever be like that guy.
Probably a homer for the Indians back then. Now a homer for the Brewers? I thought he was still alive.
I'm talking about Bob Uecker, who was Michigan's play-by-play man at WUOM.
Oh, Bob Ufer or Uecker?
Ufer. Bob.
Okay, so there's a difference. My apologies.
No.
Ufer was a Michigan homer. That's what you were saying.
Right, he was a Michigan homer. Now Bob Uecker, he's the crazy bastard. I mean, he was one of the funniest play-by-play men ever. Those
in baseball.
Right, when you saw him in those major league movies, that's exactly what he was on the air every night when he was with the Brewers. He was crazy. That's the kind of guy that you want. The side.
I like Uecker and not Ufer.
Right, that's the sideshow you want. But the Ernie Harwells, those were the ultimate professionals.
He called the Tigers games and called it fair and square.
But you also could tell stories from 40 years previous. He was so knowledgeable about the sport. I still remember the first time I sat down and I interviewed Ernie. I was 17, I think 18 years old at the time. And I'm sitting with him at his office, quasi office. It was actually Jim Campbell's office at Tiger Stadium. And I have my little cassette, my little then cassette thingy. And I'm talking to him and I'm sitting, right. I'm sitting listening to him. And I'm speechless. And he's like, why aren't you asking me questions? Like, are you kidding me? The stories that you are telling, the way that you're presenting them, I don't have to ask you any questions. You're answering everything without me asking. I said, your knowledge of baseball from the time of the Atlanta Crackers, that's how old he was, way back 100 years ago. The stories that you could give about the Negro Leagues, about baseball through the generations, calling the Bobby Thompson home run like he did on the radio, not on TV. You were there in the 68 World Series and the All-Star games. My God, your knowledge. I said, I don't have to ask you everything. You're saying it all. And he looked at me and said, now that's the sign of a good reporter. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you've kept your mouth shut the entire time. You let the guy do the talking. I said, that's the sign of a good reporter. You're not trying to show me up. You're not trying to show you know more than me. You're not even having to ask the questions because I'm telling you my whole history. That's what I loved about people like Ernie Harwell and guys even like Frank Beckman. Frank Beckman learned from Ernie Harwell as well. When you are a good play-by-play man and you can tell the story to the people on the radio, as you know, if you can have the people sit back and just close their eyes as you're talking and they're able to unveil that picture in front of them of the pristine field of Tiger Stadium, as Al Kaline's running in right field or Northrup's climbing the fence in center field, or Gates Brown sliding with the hot dogs in his pocket. You can see that in front of you as he's talking. That's the kind of broadcasters we don't have anymore. And that's what's missing in Detroit. And God, we are such a major sports town. We need better than this, guys. And again, it would come with ownership. The ownership not necessarily can call for the replacement of the play-by-play guy, but it goes a long way. Because you remember that jackass, I'm sorry, what was his name? Tom, he owned Domino's Pizza. He owned the Tigers for a while.
Tom something, I can't remember that either.
Pizza Man, that schmuck. When he fired Ernie Harwell that year and he brought in
Tom Rathburn. Rick Riz and Tom Rathburn?
Right. When he brought those two idiots in, and then Ilitch came in when he bought the team and said, wait a minute, and he fired those two and brought Ernie back. That's what owners should be able to do. Right now, if I was Chris Ilitch, I would get rid of Jim Price. I'm very sorry. I'd have to bring Mario back. You need a competent play-by-play man. You need a competent color man. The Red Wings at least have something decent. Right now, you're watching them. They've got two good men on the air. They got two good men on the air right now. They also have good studio men, meaning you got Ozzy, you've got John Keating. These guys are professional. They know what they're doing. Ozzy, he's crazier than a bed bug. I love watching him. Larry Murphy, he provides good entertainment because he's nuts. Larry Murphy is funny as hell. He's a Hall of Famer, and he just treats everything the right way. He knows not to take himself so seriously. He really doesn't. By the way, pardon me, that was me throwing a sweet potato at my cat because I had a cat that was trying to do something very bad right now. So apologies. And everybody saw me throwing a potato right there.
Yeah, nobody's seeing that because
okay,
we're unable to.
He's still trying to do something stupid. I'm going to keep throwing them at you until you move. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's just me. Here goes the third one. Now that had to move. That just hit something bad. Cat went running into another room, so I'm very happy. But there are three potatoes on my floor right now. But hey, everybody, that's what we call entertainment, nonetheless. Anything else that you and I can try to bore people with? No, I'm sorry. See, that's again me trying to inject humor, ladies and gentlemen, for those that'll be watching.
Right. The Pistons, last I saw, were trailing 46-43 in Milwaukee against the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, but now the Bucks lead by 9, 52-43 with 4:44 left, second quarter. Now, Michigan men's basketball is leading Tarleton State 61-54, 153 left in the second half. Michigan playing Tarleton State in Texas. I've never even heard of that school. Michigan's only leading Tarleton State.
Who the hell? I'm sorry, I'm a college boy. Who the hell are they?
Oh man, Michigan's only leading them by 7.
Now, Michigan State had a magnificent game today against Loyola.
Yeah, they won with a dunk with less than 5 seconds left.
Right, with
less than 2 seconds. 2.1 seconds. Yes,
sir. They played fantastic. That was a great game. Now we're in the Bahamas. We're going to be playing 3 games in a row. Hey, not a problem. Michigan, you saw what happened to them the other day. Oh man, they didn't even show up on the court.
They got slammed by Arizona, and they lost at home to Seton Hall last week.
Yes, sir.
That's why they dropped to 20th.
Thank you. And again, they're better than this.
63-54 Michigan, 107 left in the second half.
Let's say one thing about Mr. Howard. He's not to go out and blame the refs. He'll blame himself. Nope. He blamed himself after both losses. Like Tom Izzo did.
That's why Michigan signed Juwan Howard to an extension, a 5-year extension.
He knows what to do.
Not 10, just 5.
Right. That's all you should. Come on, Tom Izzo's only on 3 years.
Perfect in my eyes.
Yes. Tom Izzo's only been under 3-year contracts his entire life. What are you doing?
There you go.
10 years? Oh, we're afraid he's going to go to LSU. Then let him go. This is the way I look at it. Nobody's worth 10 years, guys. Nobody. Because if he drops dead of a heart attack, you're still paying his family. You're still stuck in that contract. You guys are stupid. And this is where I say, okay, well, the Tigers made him blow it with Miggy Cabrera. Yeah, they did. Will they blow it with Korea? No, they won't. By the time he retires, he'll be 30. The contract ends. He's only 36. He's still in his prime. At 36 is a shortstop. Oops, big difference. Well, he could get hurt like Miggy. Sure, he could. Make him a designated hitter then.
Everyone gets injured.
Everyone. Everyone. All of us get injured.
Right.
You're talking to a guy who's had 23 knee surgeries.
But you don't blame anything on injuries.
Never. No. And matter of fact, as I told my next door neighbor's father was in from Orlando today, and he looked at my leg and he said, "Oh my God, all these scars." I said, "Yeah, but you're never going to hear me feel sorry for myself. I've had 23 surgeries on my left leg. I've had a knee replacement. My left leg does not bend because there's a problem with it. I'm not complaining. I'm still walking. There are millions of other people out there who are worse off than me. When I hear baseball players go, "Oi, my deltoid," or "Oi, I need to be out for 10 days because I tweaked my pinky." Huh? Guys like Dick Williams would have killed you, the old-time managers. Guys like Sparky would have destroyed you and said, "I'm going to give you a choice. You're going to get your ass out on the field, or I'm cutting you today. You're done." That don't happen anymore. We coddle all these guys. It's like Miggy. "Oi, I can't play. Oi, I hurt my deltoid. Oi, I hurt my back." Shut up. You're getting paid $30 million a year, you dumb bastard. Get out there, swing the bat. "Oi, I can't swing."
Gotta call him a wimp.
Why do you think I started calling him Ole Cabrera? The way he was swinging at the plate, he actually looked like the old bullmaster. Ole! It's like, what the hell are you swinging at? The ball's in the dirt. What's wrong with you? Well, he didn't care for a while. And I can understand that he was angry because they got rid of everybody and he was the only one left. It made a lot of sense, but don't take it out on your teammates, man. Don't be stupid at the plate. Don't ever be stupid at the plate. Go out, do your job. They're getting paid a lot of money. And I say this about
Yes.
every single athlete that's out there. Hey, look at Max Scherzer. Remember when Max took the whatever it was to the face? He came out there with a black eye that he barely could open, and he went out and he started the next night. That's the old-time pitchers. That's what you need. Justin Verlander kept saying, I want to pitch with my elbow. It's bad. No, you need Tommy John surgery. Take it from a guy who's going to be having Tommy John surgery in the spring. It ain't fun. When you're
Michigan
out there,
just beat Tarleton State 65-54.
oh, see, they at least beat him by 9.
Yep.
Who the hell is Charles? I'm sorry, I'm making jokes.
Tarleton State could have been at least 30.
I'm sorry. Charlton State a Division IV school?
Tarleton State. There are only 3 divisions.
That's why I'm making a joke. Are they a Division IV school? Who the hell are they?
More like Division 3, if we were being realistic.
Okay, I'm sorry, Joanne, this is an embarrassment. You should have blown them up by 30 to 40 points. That's what great schools do. Hey, as a matter of fact, speaking of great schools, look what Gonzaga did to UCLA last night. That's the number 1 and number 2 teams. And look what they did to UCLA. They made them look like they were kids. They made them look like they were a high school team, the way they destroyed them.
Good comparison.
Yes, sir. But Gonzaga still can make that old saying, what championship game have they ever won? They never can get over that top. They never can do it. They never can beat the big boys in the end in the Final Four or the championship game. They just can't. Something about it. They can't do it. And again, what does it prove? It proves no matter how good of a school you are not the big Big Ten or the Pac-10 style school that should be.
Not even the MAC.
No, Gonzaga has never risen to that level. Yes, they beat the crap out of everybody because why? They're like the Notre Dames of the world. They can play everybody and their grandmothers, and they finished 31-0. But when it comes time to step up to the plate in the tournament to win 6 games, they can't do it. They just cannot do it. And this is where, hey, look, Michigan, they've been to the Final Four. Michigan State's been to the Final Four. I got that ring to prove it from a couple of years ago. Okay, now take that next step. But this is Tom Izzo. This is what Juwan Howard's going to build, by the way, for you people that think I hate Michigan. He's going to be the next Tom Izzo. He's going to be taking Michigan to a lot of Final Fours, a lot of them. He is a great, great motivator, teacher, and coach. And I bet you people never thought you heard that from me. He hates Michigan. No, I don't. Nope.
That's what homers always say.
Right. I want nothing but success for the school, even though I'm suing them for what Anderson did. I want nothing but success for Michigan. I want all the Michigan schools to do well. I don't care if you're the old Wayne State Tartars, whatever they call themselves now. I was watching Western Michigan last night.
Wayne State Warriors?
Yeah, Warriors now, right. Look what Western Michigan did last night to Northern Illinois. That was great. I was watching the game going, man, I'm proud of Western Michigan. They're playing like they're out of style.
Still a MAC game.
Yes, sir. But they played great, and I love it. When the Michigan schools do good, I'm happy. Hell, kids, I'm one of the biggest Lake Superior State.
Well, when they win, I'm happy.
So am I. Yeah, that's right. You're a WMU guy, aren't you?
CMU, actually.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not going to make any jokes about see, okay. Me, I'm wearing a Godzilla shirt tonight.
CMU men's basketball is a dumpster fire.
Yes,
even
sir.
Keno Davis could not coach them, but he was let go. True. Tony Barbie, I think, is their head coach.
Yes, sir.
Never even heard of that guy.
Hey, why don't we be like the University of Florida Gators? They fired one of the best head coach they've had since Steve Spurrier. Why? Oh, we lost a few games. You idiots. What the hell are you doing firing the man? Oh, well, he didn't have a good record this year. Excuse me, timeout. Didn't he just
losing a few games doesn't explain the reason why you're firing him.
Thank you.
It's only a few.
It's only
still a decent season.
Thank you. It's like, this is what I cannot stand about college sports anymore. You lose, you're out. Okay, maybe we should have fired D'Antonio. Maybe we should fire Jim Harbaugh because he's never won the Big Ten championship. He's also lost to Ohio State all these years. Let's get rid of him. That's
Harbaugh's winless against Ohio State. 3-4 against Michigan State. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby, but hey, if he hasn't won against Ohio State, he loses Saturday, fire him. That's
even even Michigan State's not nearly as big as Ohio State, although they were in 2015 when they beat them in the horseshoe.
Yes, sir.
and made off.
Oh, let's not talk about that wonderful kick to win the game. Oh, wait
Michael
a minute.
Geiger.
Yes, and I was going to say, and here I am making Matt Coughlin jokes. What is he going on his 12th year? Oh, by the way, something happened last night in the Western Michigan game. I had never heard of this before. Western Michigan, one of their offensive linemen is a 7th-year senior.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard that in college sports before.
Seventh year.
7th-year senior? And I'm looking it up. I'm going, oh, my God, he's a 7th-year senior. How did he?
Is he in graduate school, for goodness sake?
Yes, sir. A 7th-year senior who kept his eligibility because of graduate school, and they're letting him play. I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm thinking to myself, 18, 19, 21, he's 24 years old playing against kids.
Whatever's given to you, you got to take it.
Yes, sir. And if he makes the NFL, God bless that kid. He's 24 years old playing in college. That's fantastic in my book. But, wow, that's a new one, 7th-year senior. I admit I was a 5th-year senior, and when I was at Michigan, I was there 5 years. I was a 5th-year senior, so were all my friends. We were all 5th-year seniors, and we were laughing about it even back then. Hey, man, we're a 5th-year senior. We shouldn't be here, but we are. But 7 years, that takes some, you know what? That takes a lot of cojones to be a 7th-year senior and 24 years old playing against 17 and 18-year-old kids. That's cool. You're an NFL lineman, dude. What are you doing? He enjoys playing in college. Give him credit. He's enjoying himself. He's a phenomenal player, by the way. Watching him, he's incredible. Sure, when you're 24 years old, you're going to roll over everybody because you're so much more of a bigger man than these kids will ever be muscle-wise and tone-wise. Even the broadcasters are like, 7th year? This is interesting. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, me too. But I love it. Only in the MAC, baby. And you're going to see a 7th-year senior. You're not going to see that in the Big Ten. Well, wait a minute. We have a kicker at Michigan State, Matt Coughlin, who's been around 20. Seems like he's been around forever. What is Michigan State, by the way, going to do without him next year? This is my one question I want to ask Mel Tucker. What's you going to do without Matt Coughlin next year? You tried playing a game without him when he was injured this year. That did not go over too well with you. The kid who was replacing him couldn't kick a field goal if his mom's life depended on it. Bad. So what are you going to do? How are you going to replace the one guy who's going to be integral to your team for field goals as well as kickoffs, as well as place kicks? How are you going to do it? I don't think he has an answer. He better start thinking of one, maybe a transfer portal kid. And let's give credit where credit is due. Michigan State has shown what the transfer portal can do for a football team. It built a squad like you cannot believe. These kids never played with each other, never played against each other, and now all of a sudden they're 10-2. That's what the transfer portal can do for you. And I think it's fantastic. Now, can Jim Harbaugh do the same thing? He needs to get more transfer portal players. He needs some.
But instead, he coddles.
He coddles. Let's stop coddling. Get some transfer players out there and have some fun. I really believe that Michigan and Michigan State, first of all, we need to split up the divisions. You can't have these 3 big schools in the same division anymore, guys. You got to take one of these 3 schools and move them over to the other division. You can't have 3 teams beating the crap out of each other every year. It doesn't serve well for the Big Ten. I don't care if Michigan or Michigan State transfers to the other division, or if it's Ohio State, doesn't matter to me. You can't have 3 schools in one division. It doesn't work. That's just me talking. These 2 schools are too big now to be in the same division. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Now the guys from Woodward Sports will tell me that I'm full of crap, but that's just me. You don't know what you're talking about.
They are full of crap. They are full of crap. To us all.
Schools, these schools don't. Come on. No, I'm talking fact here. 3 schools are too big for the one division because all 3 of these schools may come in undefeated until they play each other. You don't want that every year. Let them blow out the other side of the division and not play each other every year. Now, Michigan State, and Michigan and Ohio State should play every year. But Michigan State and Ohio State, move Michigan State to the other division so we don't got to face them every year. Will you do that, please, so I don't have to get my ass kicked every year? Because we ain't ready for prime time. I'm sorry. Ohio State's on a level all by themselves.
You can't blame it on Michigan State being in the same division. That's on your school.
Oh, yes, it is. That's on my coaching staff, baby. How do you not prepare a team? And this is the Detroit Lions talking. We're never prepared. We are prepared. We're prepared to lose every game. By the way, tomorrow, I will say one thing. If Chicago loses to the Lions, they will fire their head coach. That's a gimme.
Matt Nagy.
Yeah, if he loses to the Lions, they'll fire him, but he ain't going to lose to the Lions. I can't see it.
No.
I can't see it happening. I'm so sorry. Jared Goff, here's my prediction, ladies and gentlemen. At least 2 fumbles from the snap and 2 interceptions easily. That's minimum. Minimum. That may be by the end of the first half, but I'm trying to be nice here. Here's our annual Turkey Day slaughter, and I mean us being slaughtered. And again, anybody who's a Detroit Lion fan, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't watch it for the entertainment value because we suck, you ain't doing the right thing. And
you're not saying the right thing either.
No,
that's why we ignore you and block you.
Exactly. Like there's a couple of the Lions
because you're toxic.
Right. The aficionados of the Lions on Twitter. Oh, Dan Campbell's doing such a great job, and the Lions are 2 players away from winning.
Sticking to the run game on 3rd and long.
Thank you. That's how I
thank tepid butter, not me. Want to give a shout out to him.
Yeah. Well, here's the other BS. You have a quarterback who, if he can't throw the ball on 3rd down, well, he doesn't have any receivers. No, he just can't throw the ball on 3rd down.
They have Amar St. Brown, and
you have Hawkinson, who's pretty decent.
Hawkinson's a tight end, yes.
There's 2 guys you could throw to at any given point in
Khalif
time.
Raymond.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Jared Goff, I don't know if he can't see them or if he just can't throw to them.
He can't throw accurately.
No, sir.
He can't throw accurately.
He cannot throw accurately whatsoever, and that scares me. But wait.
That's why he turns to DeAndre Swift.
Thank you.
They got so many problems. This offense has so many freaking problems.
We laugh about the defense. No, the offense is worse. And then you have the guys on Woodward Sports.
Right.
One of them posted today. Oh, the Lions defense hasn't been that bad all year long. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are you watching? What are you talking about?
Their defensive line. Their defensive line is not quite as bad as their secondary defense. Their secondary defense can't play defense at all. They don't cover wide receivers. They especially can't play situational football on 4th and 19 against the Baltimore Ravens. They can't play situational secondary defense against Kirk Cousins in Minnesota when the Vikings nailed that game winner as time expired.
Here's my
That's the Lions' own fault. Yet they blame the officiating for missing the delay of game, which is not the reason why the Lions lost that game despite bad officiating.
Both my grandfathers have been dead since the early 1980s. They could play better in the secondary than these guys, and they've been dead all those years, okay? I'm talking their skeletons could play better. Dig them up. Let them play. They're much better than this. I don't know where the hell we dug these players out of. It's horrifying. But I'm talking, there are so many guys out there who are on practice squads and whatever. Why aren't you out there trying to find 1 or 2 or 3 of them to help you? You're telling me from the start you don't give a damn. You don't care. You're out there just to put field the ball club, and if we lose, we lose, so it's okay. That's the mentality that we've had on the Lions since the 1960s. This is why guys like, I'm going all the way back now to Greg Landry and Bill Munson, why they got so frustrated, because the Lions never signed the right people. The Lions have always had 1 or 2 receivers, 1 or 2 defensive backs, but no. Can you bring
the Fords and Rod Wood don't do research?
Thank you. Can I bring Robert Forshea back? I know, Forshay's been retired how many years? Can I bring him back, please? Hey, by the way, Chris Spielman's upstairs. Let's bring him downstairs.
Barry Sanders can still.
He can run better than these guys, absolutely. And that's why I when I take a look at DeAndre Swift, DeAndre is a very good running back. He's on the wrong team. He's on the wrong team, baby. When he leaves the Lions, watch what's going to happen. And it's guaranteed, by the way, he will leave. All the good players leave. And all of them, if you notice, I can go from the crazy and Ndamukong Suh all the way forward. Every time Kenny Galladay, I'm listening to all these guys every week who used to be Lions, and I'm like, yeah, they're doing great. They're scoring touchdowns. Oh, look at that.
Even Darius Slay escaped that shithole.
Oh, my God. Look at his touchdown on Sunday. Here he was, Darius, sure hand slays,
pick 6.
Yes, sir. He was fantastic. And I'm thinking, This is what he got rid of. Why? Because he escaped, as you said, the shithole. Anybody who leaves the Lions excels. Now, it's the same thing with the Tigers. But when we got rid of these guys, they were all in their prime. So, they're still going to do good, like
Verlander, Price, Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez, Fernando Rodney.
Doug Fister, when they got rid of him.
Fister.
He did good for a couple good years.
For the Nats, yeah.
Right. Anybody remember a kid by the name of James McCann? Oh, look, he goes to Chicago, becomes an all-star. Hello. Alex Avila leaves the Tigers. Oh, look at him. He did great, and he just retired from the Nationals. He got standing ovations this year when he retired. Why? He was a leader on and off the field, and the people in Washington recognized it. Oh, but we got rid of him. We could have kept him and not had Grayson Griner. Oh, my God. I'm sorry, but you're the Detroit Tigers. You've always had great catchers from the 1940s forward. The last 6 years have been a nightmare. We've had nothing. Well, we signed some good guys. No, you haven't. Nope, sorry, you have not. And I blame it on the management. And I also blame the people of the city of Detroit. And this is
young and inept players like Griner, Candelario, and Goodrum. They just.
I'm sorry. I'm trying
bad
to
apples.
About
they're just bad apples of this rebuild.
Yeah. Hey, anybody want to overthrow from third base? Hey, just watch Candyman go. Oh, he's a great third baseman. The hell he is. But he's going to be your starting third baseman again this year.
If the Tigers don't find a replacement for him.
They have to. Because you can't move.
Otherwise, they're not a contender.
No, sir. You have to have a solid infield, which you will at first, second, and if you sign Correa at short. And you'll have a good catcher now. So now all the positions but one. But third base is the hot spot, as you and I both know. And I'm sorry, unless you have an Aurelio Rodriguez that's still out there, or a Travis Fryman that's out there, or I hate to say even Brandon Inge when Brandon was really good.
Brandon Inge committed way too many errors.
Yeah, but at least he was a decent player on and off the field.
He struck out too many times.
Yes, he did. I'm sorry. I have to admit he did. So does Candyman, by the way. Candelario strikes out way too many times. And by the way, there's something called
because Inge was a free swinger,
right? And here's my
not a smart ball taker.
Here's my Gates Brown complaint. Now I'm going to sound like the Gator,
like Robbie Grossman is.
Yes. See, now this is where I was going to make the Gates Brown line, dude. You're a third baseman, which means you guard that line. You guard third base. If a ball's going to be flying above you, you jump and you try to catch it. You don't stand there and go, oh, look, I'm going to raise my glove like Candelario does. He just raises a glove. He doesn't rise for the ball. Oh, look, I missed. 2 runs just scored. What's wrong with you? Or how about diving for the ball as it's coming?
Was it too high for you?
Yes, thank you. I always loved the way the Gator used to make fun of guys like Greg Nettles. Oh, what's the matter, baby? You don't want to dive at third base because you're afraid you won't get your uniform dirty? I always think of that when I see Candelario standing there and the ball's racing.
This is the major leagues, for God's sake.
Thank you. You dive for the ball. You put your body in front of the ball. It's the Roger Dorn syndrome, as my wife likes joking about it from the major league movies, where Roger Dorn would be like, oh, I'm being paid too much money to hurt myself. Yeah. Until the manager started hitting the line shots at him and he was covered in bruises.
Yeah, Jake Taylor gave him an earful at Roger Dorn's house. I saw that part.
Oh, I love that. This is the kind of come to Jesus moment that has been missing from the Tigers, because you don't have a leader like that. Mickey doesn't say anything. Mickey should be getting in these guys' faces.
Does he care more about himself than the team?
Yes. You're making $34 million a year, dude. Why wouldn't you? That's the way I'm looking at it. This is my friend from Houston talking now. How he cares about it?
It's always about him. And the fans, and that's what draws too many fans in.
Well, you know,
rather than the rest of the team.
I'm gonna play my friend Frank now. You also know why Miggy doesn't want to do these things, because
I think your camera is tilted upwards.
Hi.
There we go.
That was because my hand hit it. Miggy is so concerned about having to pay not just his wife, but the child support for the 3 other kids that he has with that other woman, that he's got to keep his mouth shut, because he can't afford to be cut. He needs all that money. That's why he does nothing and says nothing. He's paying this woman, what, $200,000 a month this former prostitute, whatever she was, dancer, hooker, who has his
Remember those domestic violence charges that Miguel Cabrera faced?
Yes, sir.
Over a decade ago.
Yes, sir. Hey,
Yep.
do you remember when Miggy was driving drunk on the Florida Turnpike and got pulled over?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, he was coming from her house at the time, from his mistress's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jim Leyland did the right thing and read him the riot act, the big time. So did Dombrowski. We don't got that in Alavila. Oh, it's okay, guys. You're good with the team. No, if you're not going to die for the ball, if you're not going to try to protect your team, I want your ass off this team. I'm the general manager. You're gone. You're gone. There's no questions asked. I'm not fining you. I'm not suspending you. I'm cutting you.
Nobody wants you.
Nobody. And good luck getting a job with another team because your reputation is going to suck. Why? I'm going to make sure it does.
That's why everybody hates you.
Oh, you don't want him on this team. This guy doesn't die for the ball. He's done nothing. Retire. Exactly. Go collect your pension after 6 years. You're eligible. You're done.
Cut your own career short.
You're making about $140,000 in retirement in your pension. So you got it fine. You don't have to work for the rest of your life. You're done. We don't want you. What was the guy's name? Jim Whalewander, the Jim Whalewander syndrome. Oh boy, Sparky thought he was the next God incarnate. And look what happened.
Not to be confused with Jim Leland, right? They're two different guys. Jim Whalewander.
Yeah, he was an infielder. Yeah, Jim Whalewander was an infielder on the Tigers and I
was going to say before I get off track.
Yeah, before in the early 80s, before the Tigers went to the World Series. Sparky Anderson thought that out of spring training, he was going to be God's gift to mankind. He was the biggest bust in the history of baseball, by the way, also a third baseman. And he was horrible. And he hung around other teams, and he collected his pension. He's gone. He makes $140,000 a year. He don't got to care anymore. Who cares if I sucked? I don't like attitudes like that on ball players. I'm very sorry. You're in the major leagues, baby. I don't care if you're Wild Thing or Ricky with the pitches. Okay, you're still a major league ball player. Like the manager said, I'm going to get your glasses. You're going to get it right, and if you don't, I'm getting rid of you. Plain and simple. These are the major leagues, baby. It's the same thing there should be for the NFL, for the Lions. Half their players don't even belong in the National Football League. Can I be honest? They don't even belong in college football. Where they find these guys from? What street corner did they pick them off of? Because they're certainly not professional ball players. You don't have the attitude. You don't have the demeanor. You certainly don't have the skills. What am I paying you for? But nobody is like that anymore. College and the NFL, and major league coaches are all wimps now. The old days of Earl Weaver, Jim Leyland, they're all done. Mayo Smith.
That's why the CBA is coming to an end, and there may be a lockout.
Good. I'm sorry to say that, but good. Hey,
yeah.
Do you know what my bonus was when I signed?
And the Tigers have only signed one player. That's it.
Thank you. And I always tell people, now, yes, I'm
apparently Avila and Hinch are probably just saving themselves the time after, even when they're still talking with Carlos Correa.
Yeah, they're taking their time because they know there's going to be a lockout. The players will become desperate. And that's okay. Do I think $340 million is excessive? Sure, I do. But if that's the going rate, you better damn well pay it. Now, as I always tell people, look, I was drafted by the Expos. The first contract that was offered to me when I was 19 years old, they offered me a $30,000 bonus. I thought that was the king's ransom. $30,000. That was in 1980. That was a king's ransom. My parents were teachers, so, they didn't make that much. I thought, oh, my God, it's $1 million. Now, the bonuses are 1.6, 2.5, 6.8 million. What the hell are you doing? What happened to sports? Or we signed guys in the NBA. Oh, he got a $16 million signing bonus. What did you just say?
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. The hell is a $16 million signing bonus?
Did you just say he got a signing bonus of $16 million before he even steps on the court? Yep. Oh my God. Hey, here's my argument back though. Let's be honest. If I'm the ball player and it's being offered to me, I'm not going to be stupid. I'm taking it. I'm not dumb. I'll take that kind of money. I'm set for life. Look at Torkelson. Look at Green. Look at the kind of bonuses those boys got signing on. Look at Casey Mize. Casey Mize got how many millions to sign his contract before he even proved himself? Wow. I wish someone would have done that for you guys like you and me. You and I would be set for life. We didn't even have to play a game of Major League Baseball, and we made $6 million. Wow. The Red Wings still winning?
Yeah, at the start of the third period, still 2-1 Wings.
Good. I will let you go, young man. And you're going to go watch the third period. And I want to wish everyone, especially you, a very healthy, I can speak English, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Richard.
Thank you. And I will update you as soon as we get something new.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow Richard Goldman on Twitter at RichGoldman7371 on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DT2Phillips. Follow the show, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, on Twitter and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Like it on Facebook as the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, and follow it on LinkedIn. Next episode, Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, when Frank and Ed rejoin me. But before we go, sponsored by the Viget Sports mobile app, where great fans cover. Use the hashtag #GreatFansCover to support the app. Download it on your mobile phone from the Apple App Store or Google Play. Sign up and type in the referral code STABLES with a capital S and the rest of the letters being in lowercase, including the letter B as in billionaire. And subscribe to Stables Media on YouTube. Spread the word about everything. Rich, please. Shout out to Cali Tickets. Yep. Shout out to Cali Tickets.
Everyone, you got to tune into this podcast. Why? Because it's the only one in the state of Michigan that does not just tell the truth, but tells it like it is. I'm not talking just with me being on. I'm talking with all the boys being on. They tell it like it is, and that's what
also
I love.
Digs Dirt. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Shout out to Cali Tickets. Retweet it, by the way. Visit CaliTickets.com or call 877-225-8425 to purchase a ticket to one of their featured events. That's CaliTickets.com or 877-225-8425. For Richard Goldman, I'm Taylor Phillips. Thanks for watching, listening, downloading, and sharing. And remember, the truth is out there. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Power the people. Hit them with a high, and we rest our case. Stay out of trouble and stay safe. And Jeff Moss told me that the DSR is now officially done because his website got suspended.
Ouch.
That's why Jeff Moss says he's done. He's passed the heir to the throne to me to carry the tradition of the DSR with the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. So long, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.